Hello, welcome to another episode of Old School Movement. Yes, we're back again for another episode. As you know, I'm Mr. Darren Lucas, lover of all things retro and entertainment enthusiast. Here we have my friend Chris.
Yeah, what's up, man? Back again.
And also we have Stax. How you doing, man?
Yeah, man, I'm good. You?
I'm really good, man. Good. Another episode, another load of things to talk about. And today's episode, what is it about, lads, man? What are we going to be talking about, man?
We're going to talk about toys.
Toys, man.
Not just any toys, but old school toys.
That's it. Retro toys from the 80s, man.
Retro toys. When we were kids, you know, there weren't that many gadgets. We didn't have the gadgets that kids have got today, innit?
Exactly.
Toys were big. Toys were big in our day.
Yeah.
They were important.
Now you can just download something on a tablet or on a phone.
Kids don't want to play toys, man.
Don't want to be creative. Don't want to let their imagination run wild.
Exactly.
You know the days when you used to make like mountains out of your bed.
Your duvet. I used to love doing that. I used to love doing that. Doom Mountain or something.
Yeah, or something. You know what I mean?
You could spend all afternoon
just making sets.
Before
you bring in the cast, before you bring in the actors.
Shoe boxes.
Like even get like pebbles and like sand and you know
make a little moon surface.
I
remember, man. I forgot about that.
And I used to go deep and get like logs and leaves and make like forest sets. I used to build sets before I bring in the cast. So let's talk about the cast members, man.
Who do you want to start with?
Where do we go? Let's start with action figures.
We ain't going to cover all of these. Let's start with action figures.
Let's go through as much as we can. And when we're talking action, it can only be Action Man.
There's only one man.
Yeah, and that's the Action Man.
Action Man. I think Action Man was, thinking back on it, like of all of the Christmases when I used to get toys, I think I must have been about 5, I think, when I first got Action Man. So he must have been one of the first, at least definitely the first large scale action figure I had. Yeah. But I think he was probably one of the first, before all of the other figures come along. Yeah. He was one of the first ones I got.
Yeah. Was it the Eagle Eye one?
It was the Eagle Eye one.
The Eagle Eye Action Man was the one.
It was before the Paul called. I know there was a Paul called one, a Commando.
And he would
that
talk,
used to say,
Action Man,
I think that come later though. So mine didn't do that. It was just the Eagle Eye one. Just the eyes that moved. They had like the felt hair.
And a scar on his face.
I think he had it was the paratrooper jacket, and he was like the paratrooper one. I think the one I had. Yeah. But I do remember you got accessories. You could go and buy clothes for him.
Yeah, but I remember the Action Man I bought just had blue pants on.
And then you
had to buy.
Everyone used to pull his trousers down. Yeah. He just had blue pants on.
This guy just had blue pants and a belt on the pants saying Action Man. And you bought the accessories so he could be in space. He could be playing golf. Yeah. He could be in combat. He could be a swordsman. Any type of action.
I like the Frogman. That was
the goggles.
The goggles, the flippers, the little rubber flippers, and then I remember I wanted the dinghy to go with it, the little blow up dinghy that went with it. I remember getting that.
You know the Frogman one? Could you wind it up? And his legs would flap?
That might have come later, I think. The one I didn't know, it was the basic Action Man. Like, it was the joints that moved, but you couldn't do nothing else with it. I think, I do remember one that I think you could play like within the bath or put him in the water.
But that's another zone toy. That's another zone toy.
Sorry.
But Action Man. I
remember the Spaceman, and I remember a Guardsman as well. You could get the one with the Busby hat.
You could get the Beefeater. You could get any situation Action Man. But the thing about Action Man, with his accessories, like if you wanted a tank or a Jeep,
they were big.
Because Action Man was so big. Like the tank,
they were
big, and they were expensive.
They were expensive.
So to be honest, I just had Action Man in the army gear.
I remember having the boat. I think the boat was one of the cheaper options because it wasn't as big as like the Jeep, or you could get a plane. And like you said, they were big. They were huge, great big toys.
But the thing about Action Man, was there an enemy?
No.
Was there anyone for him to fight?
I don't think there was.
Because there
wasn't.
Yeah, they were
different action men.
Yeah, right.
Like, where was the enemy? How could you? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he always had to fight Barbie or Ken or
or a clone of himself.
Like
what was the point? Because in America it was G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe.
And G.I. Joe, that was a whole array of people. You had Cobra, you had all the villains and all his friends and that. But this was but the only difference we have with Action Man is that you had different coloured hair. You get a blonde one, a brown-haired one, a black-haired one.
Yeah,
so
he's right.
They just had
that was the only difference, and different colour eyes, I think.
Yeah.
I never really thought of that.
Who was the foe?
Yeah.
But far.
I got a feeling there was outfits you could buy. Maybe you could buy like a squarer looking helmet. Let's say. I suppose if you dressed them up in that grey outfit with the square, I think there was an outfit, but I don't know.
That ain't going to really change things, though.
It's not going to change things.
When
It's
you
the
say
same.
someone's a helmet, it's going to be the same. I'm the same as you.
Yeah, it does. But when the helmet on it denotes, you're that side, you're one.
Yeah.
I think.
But what was good about those figures, though, that every part of them could move. Their wrists, their waists,
they were well jointed.
Their limbs, their ankles.
They had like
their knees.
rubber fingers, so they could
they could grip the knife and the gun
and the gun. With them. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't remember, like, Action Man was more of something that you played. Them toys you don't play for a long time because you didn't have
it was limited.
a car for him to go in or enemy for him to fight,
it got
or
boring quick.
more friends for him to. But the G.I. Joe figures, as I said, they were smaller, weren't they? Well, when I saw them, I remember them being smaller figures.
Yeah, I remember them being maybe 4 or 5 inch figures.
Yeah, and that's why. But
like a Star Wars figure size.
That kind of size. Yeah. But with the staying with the kind of like army action toys, so we had the Action Man, we had the G.I. Joe, but do you remember the figures that would just stay in a position? They were just green.
The little green men.
They
were
wicked.
The guys in Toy Story.
Yeah,
they were
but
wicked.
they were wicked because someone just laying down, someone holding the gun.
Do you remember the one who was laying down? Like if you turned him over, he was completely flat underneath.
Yeah.
So he would lay flat.
Yeah.
I used to like
no
that.
detail.
Someone ironed him or something.
Yeah.
And there was one throwing the grenade.
Yes.
See, this is where I was thinking about this, and there was a difference because one had that you could get grey ones and you could get green ones back in the day.
That's right.
If you remember, there was the grey ones had the square helmets. This is why I think Action Man might have had different outfits because the ones with the grey had the stick grenades, the ones with the green had the pineapple grenades. You could tell like there was a difference between them. One was meant to be supposed enemy, the other one was meant to be.
But all look the same.
They all look the same, exactly the same positions.
Yeah.
But there was a grey set that was different. The way it was moulded, it had different shaped helmet and different stick grenade instead of the pineapple grade. Yeah. But everyone does think of them green ones.
Yeah.
They were longer lasting fun than what Action Man was. I think
were.
Playing in the garden with them.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, just to build sets and just put them in positions.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like they're gonna go to war.
Yeah.
They were wicked.
And knock them over with a tennis ball.
But then you also had like the lead ones.
Yeah.
That you could paint.
You could paint them. Yeah, or there was some around that time, or even maybe late 70s. I can remember there was the lead ones that were like the army ones, but they were cowboys and Indians, but they were ready painted. Do you remember them?
I remember them.
The Indians were really detailed painted, and it used to chip off quite easily.
Yeah, and what they would stand on was metal as well.
Yeah, little metal tiny plinth thing that
there was a shop on Turner Green that used to sell them, man.
I think there was actually. Yeah, that's probably where I remember.
Do you remember them? The Cowboys and Indians.
Cowboys and
you could get them
Indians.
on horses.
Horses.
Even a medieval set as well.
I think it was a medieval set. Yeah, I forgot about them. But I missed those cowboys and horses. I used to love them.
They're like the kind of stuff you get from Games Workshop.
Yeah, but
the lead figures are. It's like that. They were a bit more fantasy and comic book.
Before that time, man.
Before that time, it was the green plastic army men, and there was obviously lead army men going back, way back before we were about. But, yeah, but I always remember when I was really small, them Cowboys and Indians, and you could get like a. What would they ride in? A wagon, like a wagon and 4 horses pulling it.
Yes,
and
I remember that.
And they had bows and arrows, and they were quite popular, I think, back in our day. And they phased out though, and maybe because the army ones got a bit more popular due to films and stuff.
And it would become expensive because if you just have a soldier or a lead figure that just stood still, there wasn't much
you bought them
movement
individually,
you could do
I think,
with it.
as well. Those were more purchased individually, or a little set of 5. Whereas the big green men, you could get a bag of them.
You get a bag of them.
For cheaper than probably what you could buy one.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But yes, I do remember the medieval and the Cowboys and Indians.
Yeah, there was knights, I remember it,
You know, also sticking with the big size figures, the $6 million man.
Yeah. That was a wicked
The $6 million man, that was like, you know that word in the 80s that was big? State of the art. You know, if you wanted to tell someone something was really good,
it's state
of the art.
State of the art. And that doll was state of the art.
It was state of the art. You could open his forearm
His arm, yeah.
and see inside the
circuitry.
mechanics of his arm.
You could take out little circuit boards.
Circuit board
his
for the
arms.
forearm. Look through his head and look through his eye to magnify your sight with his bionic eye.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
was
the
wicked.
bionic man.
Again, I think that I remember it being released with 2 outfits. I had the red one, which
Yeah.
is the traditional one, but I think there was a blue.
Like
I remember
a
there being
jean,
a blue
a
jean,
denim.
Jenny.
Yeah.
I remember that one as well. But I think again, you could buy outfits, but it was limited because there was nothing to
What could you do with
I
it?
don't
There
think
was
we
no
ever
enemy
got.
again. It was just
Nah, we never
maybe
got.
you got him to fight Action Man. Maybe that was
Yeah, maybe we did. I got to think I got that the same Christmas I got the first Action Man because both boxes were identical. I can remember they were in long thin boxes with the window on the front.
Yep.
I can remember the Action Man, the $6 Million Man box. I just liked the box.
Yeah, that's right.
As soon as I
Red
saw it,
box,
it was like,
and you see, Steve Austin on the side and that.
$6
Wicked
million
box,
man.
wicked box. But those were the high end, large figures, yeah. But there was a place where if there was the real name of the toy or the cheap budget version of that toy, you'd go to this place on a Sunday.
Normally on a Sunday.
With your parents, and that was always the Sunday market. Market toys. Market toys.
Use once only toys.
I was going to say that.
They solved the day for you. They solved a couple of hours for you.
They were cheap, but you would only get a few hours or a couple of days.
You get a few hours out of them, man.
And then
if you went to Sunday market or a local market like Bush Market and so on, and you saw the market toys, man, like as we were saying, Action Man, but they had Fraction Man or something, just some alternative. You can say, look, this will do.
It's fraction of the cost, man.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But market toys, you would see them, and they'll be so beautifully displayed, the monkey with the two
the
symbols, those robots. Remember, you always see that square-headed robot with lights. You never wanted it, but you wanted it.
Yeah.
Because it was moving. The batteries were operating.
In your head, you knew it weren't going to last 5 minutes, but you still wanted it.
But you wanted those market toys, man.
Still wanted it.
Like market toys. Market toy top 3 was like the snake. Remember the snake? Just hold the snake at the end and it would do its thing.
The plastic jointed.
The plastic jointed
with
snake,
the stickers on it.
And you can see different colours, yeah. Look, we're moving like we're doing 80s dances at the moment when we're thinking about the snake. And I always wanted the red one. That looked deadly. You get red, blue, or green. But the red one I always wanted. And all you did was just hold the tip of it and just watch the top of it. But hey, that's fun.
No batteries, no mechanics.
No batteries, no mechanics.
Gravity.
As soon as you got it in your hand, the thing works.
Exactly that.
I used to love the parachute man.
The parachute man.
The soldier
parachute. We'll put him in at number 2. We'll put him in at number 2. The parachute man.
Hours of fun.
Was just.
Well, you know what? I never got hours of fun with that because once you threw it out the window, the wind would take it and it was just, that's it. It's gone into someone else's garden and you don't ever see it again.
But the parachute man, they started to get smart on that and not make it just an army man. I remember I had a Batman one, a Spider-Man one. They can make anyone a parachute man.
I never saw
it. That was the market. That was the market rule.
But you're right. There was
rule
definitely Batman.
Was,
definitely a Batman
whatever
one.
character you can capitalize on, just paint a version,
Change it to
and the kids will buy it.
Yeah, I remember taking that to school like late 70s, almost 70s, 80s. We had that at school. Just chuck it around the playground.
The parachute.
I always used to go up to the bathroom because that was the biggest window.
I was gonna say.
I don't know why, and I just throw it out of that because I wanted to see it really float down, and then it would just go next door. That'd be the end of it.
We used to do it in hours, up to the bedroom window, or find someone who lives in some flats and go up to their balcony and properly, drop it off.
Yeah, but that was about 50p a pound. Parachute,
but like you say, it wouldn't last long. You'd lose. It
wouldn't last long, but that's why it made sense. But number 1 market toy, probably for me, is the octopus. The octopus you throw on the wall and just watch it roll down the wall. Watch it roll down
the dart gun with the suckers on it.
That was a classic.
That was
that was a classic.
Or a cap gun.
A cap gun.
Yeah.
Or a whole. Did you ever have a whole cowboy set?
Yeah.
With a belt.
Yeah, belt, two
guns,
a
badge,
you
bow and arrow, and maybe a mask. Sometimes you could get a Zorro set.
Yeah,
you get a Zorro set
with them flimsy swords.
Yeah, the flimsy swords with the cover that covers your hand.
Yeah. Like a fencing sword.
Did you have the Zorro swords that had chalk at the end of the sword?
So you could write
your name on the wall.
I forgot about that.
You understand the Zorro there with the sword in his hand. It's also a chalk rolling pin, man. I love that, man.
Yeah, you could do the classic.
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. Had the chalk in
The
the
Zorro.
end.
The
Zorro set.
Do you know what?
They were classic market ones.
Market toys, man.
We have to
Couple of
do
quid
top
you
10.
get.
There can't be a top 3. There was too many. It's too many.
There's too many. I remember the octopus. There was also, I don't know if you remember, like, it was like a half cap plastic thing. We used to call them poppers. You popped it inside out and left it somewhere, and then it slowly turned itself inside out, but then it'd shoot
Oh, yeah,
up.
I don't know, shoot up.
Yeah, they come out when them octopuses come out. So whenever I think of the octopus, I think of these popper things.
Yes.
They look like a half a squash ball or
Yes,
something.
Yes, yeah. I know
Popped
exactly
inside
what you're talking
out.
about. Popped inside.
I remember them as well.
I always remembered, like, there was always a big police car
Always a big police
with
car.
the red and blue lights
Yeah.
flashing. It's always just sitting
Yeah.
on top.
Yeah.
Sitting on top of all the toys.
Oh,
You're
you'd walk
like,
past and they'd have
"I
one
want
on
that
display.
one."
The one that's
Yeah.
going around, not hitting the sides.
Or they
like.
have that dog that flips.
The flipping dog.
Like a fairy
Yeah.
dog that
Yeah.
just walks around. Do you
Or-
also...
Sorry.
Go.
The ball with
Go
the
on.
little rat tail on it.
A rat tail.
It looks like a rat tail. And there's a ball and it
just
rolls around.
Yes, yeah, it just
yes.
rolls. It's like a
Very
hamster
bit
doing
rolls,
somersaults.
yes.
Yeah, I do remember.
Do you
it.
guys remember the thing where it was normally a monkey, let's say, or a dog, and it would be on like on a bar, and you'd push the 2 buttons at the side, and
And
you'd
it'd
flip over the bar.
Yeah. If you
Like
could get the rhythm
gymnastics,
going,
yeah.
you could get
Yeah,
them
you can make
flipping
it go
right
around
yeah.
and round.
Or it'd be a clown or something on an
Or a clown doing
acrobat.
acrobats.
Yeah.
Or do you remember that water thing? There was like bubbles and
Yeah.
like shapes, and
I
you
used to
press the
love
button.
And you had to press the button to get the thing
Yeah,
inside.
get the hoops on the rings and
Yeah.
they're all good.
Market toys.
Those, I had loads of
Yeah,
those.
But who
loads of
knows-
them.
what's
They used
the
to
name of
leak
it? What
after
is
a
the
while.
name of
Though,
that?
yeah. Always used to leak.
I love
all
them
these
toys.
market toys you mentioned, we never know their name.
No,
you
you've
just
got to
saw it and
describe
said,
what
I
it
want
is.
that
I want
thing.
that.
I just
want
want that thing.
But yeah, I remember like all the cap guns that they used to do and spud guns. Spud guns were good. They were good fun.
Spud guns, man.
I don't know if they're still about, but they used to shoot corks or just push it in your spud and
But
shoot someone
the
with it.
cap guns, where you get them cowboy guns.
Yeah.
Remember sometimes, you know, like we were saying earlier about the guns with the belt. They were like plastic guns, but
Yeah.
sometimes you can get like metal
Metal
guns.
ones,
Yeah.
And put the caps
Yeah.
in, and when you like, you know, pull the trigger,
Yeah.
caps
the
would smoke up. And
Yeah.
I think
and-
now they are too realistic looking. Even like an old looking cowboy one is too realistic looking for our day
Yeah.
and age now because you don't see them as much. I've seen some brightly coloured kids plastic guns these days. I think that's the thing. If you're gonna do that now, they got to be proper
Yeah,
plastic
so they
and
don't
brightly
look.
coloured.
Yeah, they
so
can't
they're-
look realistic.
Yeah, you can't have the right
do you remember
colours.
the market laser guns? We just spade like a gun that Flash Gordon would have. It's like
Yeah.
you press the button, woo, and all the
Yeah.
lights flashing.
Sparks fly out.
Sparks
Some of
fly
them.
out
Yeah.
of
There was
it.
one that had like metal discs in it.
Yeah,
used to
like little
spin.
motors and
Little motors. Yeah, and the more you triggered it, the more sparks
more
that would
sparks
fly
go,
out.
Remember
I
them,
love all
man?
them
You
things,
get
man.
gold ones and grey ones.
Just trying to make the sparks touch your hand like
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there was one that was just like a handle and it just used to spin with sparks, like an alien looking gun sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember also
toys
in them
are good.
places on the slide? Do you ever used to look on the slide? And if you looked high enough, you'd see them pens. You know, with the naked ladies.
Yeah.
If you
Tip
turned it
them
upside
upside
down, they'll be naked and be tipped to the back. You remember those pens?
If I see one in the shops now, I have to try.
I just see them
it.
slide in a market. I just see them sliding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. You
Talking
have the
about-
fat ones as well.
Yeah.
I wanted one of them pens so badly.
It was
Do they
great
still
pens.
exist?
They're still about in novelty shops in Uptown or whatever.
mate,
You still
those
see them.
pens.
You probably still see them in the
Them
market.
pens.
See them more in
I
souvenir
think
shops
markets have
abroad.
just declined though, because I don't notice them as that much anymore. Markets, not like how it used to be.
No, well, Shepherd's Market still have that kind of toy bit, but it's not as broad as it was because, you know,
as
kids
popular now,
don't
isn't it?
play
They're
with
not,
toys
yeah,
and
they're
that.
not into
that.
But
toys,
getting
yeah.
back to the popping things, remember the things you could just throw onto the ground
Snaps.
and they were just they were called
Snaps,
snaps, weren't they?
the
Yeah,
paper.
yeah.
Just,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
look like a Rizzler rolled up with
Yeah.
some grit in it.
Yeah.
It snaps. You still see them.
Snaps,
My
man.
little girl loves them. You still
Just
see
throw
them
them
now
on
and
the
then.
ground and that.
And they come in a box with. Do you remember what it's filled up with? In the box to stop them drying out or to stop them
what-
snapping. Sawdust.
Oh
Remember,
yes,
It's full up with sawdust or wood shavings. The whole
yes,
box
that's
was.
right. That's
Seems
right.
like a whole fire hazard now, doesn't
That's
it?
right.
A box of something that explodes full up with sawdust.
That's right. Little tricks used to pull, man. Look, like
Wicked.
just to scare people by
Yeah,
just throwing it
just
on the ground.
snap
innit?
it on the
That's
ground.
why, like, remember when joke shops existed?
Yes.
It's the love of joke shop.
Like
Stink
Do
bombs.
joke shops still exist?
Yeah,
You
I
only
don't-
see
yeah,
them,
man,
you
I've
only
never
see
seen
them.
The
one, mate.
stink bombs would stink.
That
That
was nasty,
the
man.
smell of a stink bomb. That was stink.
That would
That was.
stink.
We didn't want to describe stink.
That is stink.
That's
yeah.
a stink.
Yeah, whoever made that just knew what
They
stink
created
smelled
stink.
like. Yeah, they created stink.
Mate, if
that
you get one of them
egginess
eggy,
of the
them raw eggy stink bombs. Oh,
Oh,
my god. I
the
can't.
worst.
Someone used
Talking
to
about it, I can smell it.
Yeah.
as soon as you mention it,
You can smell it.
You can smell it.
Just thinking about it. Like people used to let them off in canteens.
In
man.
school and
Oh,
stuff,
mate.
yeah,
Canteens.
corridors.
They used to do it on the
canteens.
train from Acton to
On the
Hammersmith.
train. Oh,
And you know it
God.
doesn't stop between
No.
Acton and
Yeah,
Hammersmith.
yeah.
So they would let one off there
Oh.
and people would have to sit with
Nah,
that
that's,
for like
I
a
think
good
that's
I
four
forgot
days.
about
that's
on the
pretty
trains.
evil because I've never let off a stink bomb, you
Nah,
know,
neither have I.
because it's evil. Have you ever let off a stink bomb, Chris?
He has.
Chris is looking like Dan Aykroyd looked when he asked if anyone wished for something and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was on its way. What did you think of, man? What did you do?
I'm sure I have done. I know. So
Did
I
you
used
let off
I used to
stink bombs?
buy
That's
them.
evil, man.
I used to buy them. So what? I must, I bought some sometimes. So I must have done.
I never
something
bought
with
them, but they were just
Nah.
when I went to
But they
joke
did
shops,
stink.
I bought the Dracula's blood, the capsules that just explode in your mouth and looks like blood's coming out from your gums, or the Dracula teeth, or do you remember
Yeah,
the
the Dracula
juicy
teeth.
fruit gum? And if someone took one, it would snap their
That's
hand.
what I used to buy. I'd buy that. I'd buy that.
Right, you know?
You
It
had
was-
yeah,
the one I
you
had
a
was white
fake-
Wrigley's. You got white Wrigley's or the
packet.
yellow juicy fruit.
Yeah.
And it had like a really hard spring with a bit of metal. And as you pulled the last one out, you give it to someone. As they pulled it out, it would fly. It's like a mousetrap. As you pulled it would whack onto your thumbnail. And you'd be like, oh, like. Yeah, I used to buy that.
You remember
It's like-
that?
And I used to buy the soap, the white bar of soap. You leave it somewhere.
And it would go black
It
or something.
makes your face go black when
Yeah,
you wash it with.
yeah. And there was chewing gum that would make your tongue
Tongue
another
go blue.
colour.
Yeah. There was also that you probably remember these little hard boiled sweets that made your my whole mouth go blue. They didn't taste great, but a lot of people would, give us a sweet. You'd give them that.
Yes.
It's a little hard.
Another joke.
Looked
thing,
like a
right?
locket. Yeah, it almost looked like a small
Yes.
locket, and your whole mouth would just go blue,
Yeah.
and it would stay like it for ages,
Yeah.
man.
The joke
Ages.
shop was a wonder,
And
man. because
obviously, trick poo was another one.
Trick
like,
poo.
trick dog poo, man.
Yeah.
I think everyone must have bought a bit of that from
That
there.
sounds like some new rapper, innit? Trick poo. but there was but there was remember you go into a joke shop and you just see a gallery of masks.
Some of them was
Some of them were
scary.
messed up,
Some of
man.
them was
like
scary,
there was
man.
one section you would see like superheroes,
Yeah, clowns.
clowns, and then like horror.
Freddy,
Like you see Freddy,
Jason.
Swamp Thing,
Swamp Thing.
this Merman,
Werewolf.
Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolf,
Zombie.
Wolf. I sound like a bastard now. But you would see.
It's true. Some of it, I didn't want to look at them. I keep my head down, like, just look in
And
the
they were
cabinet.
always, but they were always above you. Like, when you
Yeah.
look up, you're seeing
Yeah.
these ripped up faces. They're like the face in American Way from London when
Yeah.
David kept on
Yeah.
visiting. The guy kept on visiting David.
Some proper 80s
Some
effect,
proper
plastic,
80s Fangora looking
Fangora
beasts,
looking
man.
stuff. And I remember in our local joke shop as well, that they're like the rest of the costume, the actual body bit would be hanging up at the back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you look through, you could see some
You
freaky,
could see some
freaky
like
looking
a-
stuff
like
in
an
there.
ape suit or
yeah,
something.
some weird stuff going on.
Nah,
I used to
man.
love the joke.
Yeah, but the joke shop was a trip, man. It was like
Joke
it's
shop was
just a
wicked.
trippy place to go to, man.
Was it called the Joker?
Joker,
Was
man.
Joker's?
Joker,
Joker.
yeah.
Joker. They had like Harley Quinn in the
Yeah.
front window.
Yeah.
Wicked little shop.
Mate,
man. Yeah, love
like
that
the
growing
things you
up.
could buy in there, yeah,
that
the
growing up.
fangs, the stink bombs, Chris.
We used to get smoke bombs. as well.
Smoke bombs.
You had to light them, but they big
Yeah.
cloud of
Do you
smoke.
remember that thing?
Play ninjas with them.
Remember that thing? Was it a snake where it's black and then you light it and
Yeah,
watch it
that was
burn?
an indoor firework. That stunk the house out.
Yeah.
I tell people about it. Not many people remember that thing, like a little tablet that you lit, but it was part of the indoor fireworks kit that used to be sold, which I don't see no more because I think they probably burnt down so many houses. I think they've probably been banned or health and safety banned them now. But yeah, they were something to do with that, and it used to grow into a big black worm and just stink, strong
Just
like
but
sulfur.
The point of it was just watching
fumes.
something burn.
It was odd. Yeah.
That was it.
But you
Just
could buy.
watching
Yeah, you were
something
right. You could buy that from the joke shop as well. You were
Yeah.
right. I remember that.
Yeah. But you're saying about the fake poo because you get it in a can as well. Remember, you just got one that you can just a rock, but you
Yeah.
can get it in a.
And it used to go hard after you sprayed it. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Remember the foam you could spray?
Foam spray.
The foam spray.
Yeah,
that
just
was
normal
big.
like custard
Yeah.
pie spray.
Yeah.
So, talking about the foam dog poo, you remember fart spray?
I was about to say that,
It
you know.
used to stink, man.
I was about
It
to say that.
But it was a rotten smell. It wasn't even like a nice fart
My
smell.
mind,
yeah.
my
What's
mind
a nice
just fooled
fart
me.
smell?
I don't know,
mate.
you know, it's like, you know what I mean? No, it was a rotten. It was a.
We're on the fries I
It smelled like someone shit themselves. To be honest, sorry, but It was rotten.
Yeah, yeah.
People used to spray that at school. I didn't like that.
I do remember fart spray, but
It wasn't as potent as
in
his
my
bomb.
mind, I didn't know if it existed, and that's why I didn't want to say it. I thought, am I making up? Is it something out of Despicable Me?
It was in
But
a brown
it's
can.
real.
It was in a small one of them small little
Yes, and it said
brown
fart.
can. Fart spray.
Yeah.
Like, fart spray. It was like something Batman had had.
Yeah.
Fart spray, like. And
It was
take
a
fart spray.
But it didn't smell like farts.
Nah, that's what I'm
It
saying. I'm
smelled
sorry,
like
but
a
it
dragon's
smelled like
fart or something. If a
someone
dragon
shit themselves,
farted.
man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's not.
Yeah, it was bad.
Not going to
But I
that.
don't think it was bad as the stink bomb though.
To me, it made me feel sicker, but the stink bomb was more potent, and
It's potent
and
and
it
lingered.
that clung to you. Yeah.
That
Once you'd
stuff
smelt that in the
lingered.
morning, you were still smelling that.
Yeah.
That was repeating on you.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Like a bad bit of food. That
Yeah,
thing, man.
it
Oh.
reminded you. Remember me? And just went up on you. Like, oh shit!
Don't forget
Literally.
about me.
Damn. Nah. Sorry, we went on a
went on a bit of a
joke
mad
shop
one there, yeah.
tandem. We're gonna go back to the market toys, but we had to include the joke shop
I've
because
got
in the 80s, the joke shops were big. It was part of your destination
Of
on
your-
somewhere.
of your childhood
for
as well, growing
costumes,
up, it was-
just to
yeah.
look at stuff, just to see what new like little tricks you could pull on your
Or
mate
if you
or
were going to
stuff.
someone's party, there was like they'd done party bits as well, so you could buy, bags. I think if you were hosting the party, I mean, you could go
Yeah.
there to buy your bits.
Yeah, and places weren't cheap.
No, they weren't cheap. Definitely weren't cheap.
Do you remember when there was a market in Brentford?
In the square.
Where the Brentford Leisure Centre is now.
Oh yeah,
That was a
yeah,
market.
yeah. I remember
whole-
that market.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
going
Bit of
back
land,
to-
yeah.
That's going back, yeah.
Well, that's going back.
That's going way back. Yeah.
And I remember a time when my brother got a toy. He got like an Action Man size Superman. And you remember the budget superhero toys where you could take their arms off, yeah, but their head was completely different colour to the body. Do you remember those toys? And say like a character had gloves, you could take the clothes off but still have the gloves on.
Yeah.
And like the clothes, even up to the boots and stuff, they were all material.
Right.
Do you remember them toys? They had like
Yeah,
they had like
I remember.
DC toys.
Yeah.
They even had like people like like the Thing from Fantastic Four. You could take he's made of bricks.
Yeah, yeah.
You could take that off as clothes, and he'll have skin underneath. Does that make sense? Like all the characters, all the Marvel characters, DC characters.
remember them,
My
yeah.
brother had a Superman one, with, with a cloth cape and stuff. And I remember, like the parachute man, I ran to the top of the stairs because he's Superman, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's got to be able to
I
fly.
said, yeah. So I threw him out the window, just brand new, fresh out the box. Threw him out the window so he could fly. Ran downstairs to get it. He was gone already. Someone took it already by the time I got downstairs, and it wasn't even my toy. My brother was fuming with me, man.
I'm not surprised.
Really, but I'm fuming. Still to this day, man.
Oh, I wonder where it is now.
But it was Superman. He's supposed to fly. It wasn't any of you lot. Any of you lot were past it. Good. No, but market toys, man. They were the go-to because they wouldn't leave your eyes. You'd be walking through the market.
You'd see every stall would have
You would
something.
seize a stall because
you keep seeing it.
You'd be walking with your mum and she'll be stopping talking with her friends.
Yeah.
And you'll be standing there and you'll see another kid like a couple of feet away from you going through the same motion. Like you wouldn't have to talk to each other, but your eye contact meant I'm in the same situation too. I want to go to the toy bit too. I want to go home too.
Yeah, exactly.
Your mum's stopping and talking to every mate.
Or the budget lightsaber.
Yeah, the budget lightsabers. Yes.
They had whole select swords in like scabbards, bow and arrows. They had quite a lot of weapons, didn't they?
a lot of bow and arrows,
Kids' weapons.
Yeah, bow and arrows.
Bow and arrow.
They were good.
With a little sucker on the end.
Yes.
they were wicked.
Yes.
They were
Bloody hell,
wicked.
the market toy. But that was exactly. But that was when you went through a market because these toys weren't advertised. These toys weren't things that were in your face. Toys that are in your face were the toys that you would want to buy, but you would see them when you're watching cartoons. And a lot of these cartoons, well, all of the cartoons, they had toys to accompany
Yeah.
the cartoon. Like as we said with our first podcast, like He-Man toys were out before the cartoon.
Yeah.
And that's the same with Transformers as well. And when I first set my eyes on Transformers toys, man, it was a new zone.
They were different.
It was different because like
Two toys in one.
two toys in
it was
one.
like having two toys
because
in one.
because like we were saying with our cartoons podcast, GoBots still had toys as well. But I think they were called robo machines at that time.
Does ring a bell. I remember GoBots. They come up before.
Or that may be another make, but I remember GoBots. I'm sure they were called robo machines at the time, and even their toys wasn't as good as the cartoon.
Yeah.
When Transformers came with their toys in the cartoon, Transformers just took over. But they were expensive toys, man.
They were decent size though.
Yeah.
You were getting a big toy. They come out in 1984 by Hasbro. They launched them. They were a mix of two Japanese toys, one called Diaclone and one called Microchange. They were the two Japanese makes, and Hasbro went to Marvel Comics and said, look, is there any way you can combine these two toys and come up with something, that's going to appeal to the American market and the Western kids? And that's how they come up with Transformers. And then they released the toys in '84.
Yeah, man.
Which there were some, they were wicked.
They were
There
wicked.
were some really popular ones. Some of them today are worth quite a bit of
Doing
money
in good
now,
condition,
man.
right? But
If
I
they're-
don't.
yeah, if they're still
I don't
pop.
remember having a lot of them because they were too expensive.
I
But
remember
I
having
remember
a
when
few.
smaller versions came
Smaller
out.
versions, yeah.
Like,
They're
a
even
lot
more
cheaper.
harder to get hold of
Yeah,
now.
they were cheaper.
I've still got a couple.
Seriously.
You still got a couple.
I've got a little.
Have you got the little Bumblebee?
No, I've got.
That one's worth.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's worth about £3,000.
Wow.
Really?
I think it's a little Bumblebee, is because it come out the micro
was
version,
small,
the one
wasn't
that
it?
was about this big. Yeah, it come out in red at first, or it come out in yellow, but they launched a red version. And I'm sure I had the red version. I remember having a small red, the old VW Beetle shape in them
that's
days.
right.
That's worth. I think it's about like £2,500, £3,000 that they're going for them ones in the box. But
Yeah.
I've still got Optimus Prime.
that. ooh,
Yeah. With the trailer as well.
Yeah.
I had Optimus Prime, but I haven't got it. That box now, about £12,000
Really?
in a box.
Jeez.
If it's still in mint condition,
Yeah,
I think they're going for
not
about.
in mint condition.
They're going for about 10 or 12 grand. So even in whatever your condition, that's got to be worth a couple of grand.
I might have to dig it out. And
Yeah,
I've got.
I remember having
What one was the
Optimus
purple plane?
I had Starscream,
Oh,
I think, which was the
Starscream was
red,
blue,
red and white,
blue,
red and white,
greyish,
red and
wasn't
blue
it?
or something.
I can't remember. Out of all the jets, I don't remember the name of Starscream.
Starscream,
I can't remember the name.
that one was one of the most popular ones, even now to collect to this day, because they had plastic tail fins, and most people have lost them now. I think that was the only Transformer that had like bits you had to stick on yourself.
Yeah.
It was the only one, so they're pretty much lost.
Well, the wings would. You could twist the wings, or they could come off,
or they
and
could
then you
come
turn it
off.
into a robot, and then you put the wings so that it
That
stand
was it.
up.
Yeah, that was it.
But I had the purple one.
Most of them have lost them.
Shemaine's cousin's got a white one,
Yeah, I remember
which I
seeing
think
that
is
one.
in his mum's house in Wales.
Was it
that
is
is
it a
like-
bigger size one?
Yeah, these are the big ones.
Yeah, I remember there was bigger size ones. Yeah,
these- So when you transform them, they're like.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Starscream, they're worth about £2,000, I think.
Does he got Megatron? The gun?
Megatron was
Yeah.
that
I
was
think he might have
that,
the
I think
gun
that
as
got
well.
banned, the toy. Because it was so realistic looking.
Yeah.
The Megatron gun. It was metal, nickel plated. Where it looked like the gun. when
Yeah, I
it was
remember
in the
that. I
gun.
remember the gun, but I didn't see the point of him turning into a gun because it was handheld for
Yeah,
you. They were all
who
fighting
could
each other.
use
He
him?
was
Yeah.
dead.
He just lay on the floor.
He just like yeah.
But then, no, wasn't Starscream supposed to be the one that shoots him? or
I think
something?
I think
was.
someone.
But
Yeah.
when you've got it as a toy,
Yeah.
he's a gun for you to
Yeah,
hold.
for you
Yeah.
to hold. Yeah, he was.
So-
that,
so-
that's what I think he
So
got banged.
are
He
we
was-
supposed to be Decepticons?
He was-
We're playing Transformers.
Yeah, he was almost life size.
Yeah, because we're holding Megatron.
We're holding him.
True.
Damn, that's how they've got. That's how they
True.
turn us to
True.
evil.
I boxed one of them, nearly £5,000 now.
Damn.
What I've seen anywhere on the
I-
internet.
We've got to
The
go on
only-
a hunt.
The only Transformer I had.
I'm
was,
sure you didn't. You have Soundwave.
No, I had Ultra Magnus.
I had Ultra Magnus, yeah?
Ultra. He was
Ultra
he was
Magnus,
a
yeah.
white truck, and he
Yeah.
was a truck that other cars go on.
Went into
Yeah.
the
Went into
like a
the
transporter.
transporter one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had him.
Yeah.
I'm sure you also had like
I had
a Lamborghini, a white.
Yes, I had a
You had
Lamborghini.
a Lamborghini
but what's
one.
the name of
I
that?
can't remember his name. So I
had a yes, I did have a Lamborghini.
I thought I like that.
Did it
one,
have
man,
like
a
gold and
Lamborghini.
purple on it? Was it Decepticon or Autobot?
It's an Autobot.
Autobot,
It's an Autobot
Autobot, definitely
Lamborghini.
Autobot, yeah.
Yes, I had a Lamborghini. I always wanted Jazz,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Porsche. I don't think
a
I had
Lamborghini
Jazz.
Countach. I remember. it, but
Yes,
can't
I had
remember
that. I
it.
can't
You
remember
had
his
that.
name though.
Yeah.
But,
You know, it's
but
like the hologram on it. When you heat it up,
yes.
it changes colour.
So that's real, isn't
Yeah.
it? So that you've got not the market version.
Yeah.
You've got the
got
Hasbro,
that
one,
Mattel
yeah. Original.
toys, like
In today's market, that the holy grail of Transformers apparently is the Optimus Prime truck, but it had a Pepsi logo on the wagon bit. That one now, if anyone's got that box, that's easily, I think you're looking 15,000-20,000 apparently from what I've read. It's like the holy grail one of collectors at the moment from back at. These are the 80s toys, the ones that were released around 84. I think they come out.
That Optimus Prime, I remember it was £45. You're looking at the Argos catalogue.
See, that's why I didn't get that.
They stopped getting produced, a lot of them. They only kept producing Optimus Prime, I think Starscream, Soundwave, and Bumblebee. They carried on for about 3 or 4 years producing them, but they stopped with all these other ones. So like the one that you said you had, that Transporter one, that would have been worth some money nowadays, man.
Damn.
And probably the Lambo ones. I definitely remember you having it because I loved it, man. I thought there's a Lamborghini Countach, like the Transformer. It was wicked.
I remember I had Hot Rod as well. Remember Hot Rod?
Yeah.
He was in the
Hot
film.
Rod. Yeah.
You got the touch.
Yeah.
He was in the Transformers movie.
I don't know, do you remember as well? They had some friends called Dinobots.
Yeah, me, Grimlock.
Yeah, Grimlock. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
Yeah, the T-Rex one, the Grimlock.
Yeah.
That's the only one I can remember is Grimlock.
Do you know what? There was one called Slag.
That rings a bell. I think that was like a Stegosaurus looking thing or something. That rings a
Why
bell.
was it called Slag?
That's odd. Maybe it means something else where they're from.
Must be. Yeah. Anyway, so
love Transformers
toys based on cartoons. So Transformers were killing it. Everybody liked Transformers. You had the Robo Machines, GoBots, whatever they're called, but they weren't doing it. Transformers are killing it. But my favourite toy, not favourite, but one I used to collect more of probably, is probably the He-Man figures, man.
I used to like him. I didn't have many of them, but I loved
because He-Man figures, what was good about He-Man figures is that I bought it in a set. You bought He-Man and Skeletor.
Yeah, you could buy them in a set.
So it was about £5 something, and to get so you've already started the ball rolling.
Yeah,
you don't have to buy He-Man because you notice whenever you whenever you bought toys, you bought the hero first.
Always
bought the hero. Do you know, and then had to save up to get the enemy.
Or the sidekick.
You got them both together.
So you know, before you'd make the hero fight some other toy.
Yeah. But you could buy these in sets of 2 or 3.
They started the beef.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I bought He-Man. I didn't have the Skeletor. Mine came with Battlecat and Cringer.
Yes.
But it was just stuck in one position. It was good because you could No, you couldn't even sit him on it because his legs.
No, you could sit him on it because it had a saddle.
It had a saddle.
It had a red saddle.
And it had the thing you put over the head to make him Battlecat.
But the reason why that tiger was just that standstill tiger because it was a toy from an American toy called Jungle Jim. And Jungle Jim that was his tiger. That same tiger. So they couldn't be bothered to produce more, so then F it. We just use this same tiger, paint it green and put yellow stripes in it, and we'll use that for He-Man as well.
Ah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the same tiger.
That was a fairly big old thing. The figures must have been, I think, 5.5 or 6 inch figures. They were quite big.
And they had the waist action. Remember, you twist their waist and give a He-Man
movable
punch.
Arms, and they had soft heads, didn't they? You could like push their faces in.
Yeah.
I remember if you squeezed He-Man's forehead and his chin,
you
could make him like do gurning sort of thing.
But that was his face all permanently, like he was having shit or something. Just had
that angry look. I didn't like his face. I wasn't happy with his face.
Yeah,
The
he was just vexed.
Skeletor looked good though, but there was some wicked. Saying that, I do remember you having quite a few actually.
Yeah, man.
Some random ones
He-Man
like that I never saw elsewhere. Like I think. Stratos, I think you had.
Stratos, man.
Stratos was like one of the wicked ones.
Yeah.
Did he fly or something? Like,
so the stratosphere.
Stratosphere, yeah. Man at Arms. I think I had Man at Arms as well.
Ram Man, you could push his head down and spring back up.
Spring-loaded legs.
Spring-loaded legs, man.
I remember seeing Buzz Off. I don't know if you had him or someone else.
The big wasp dude.
The wasp, I think that.
I remember there was one called Fake. That was He-Man, but blue.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a blue He-Man. I think also, I don't know if you had it, but there was one called Moss Man.
It was furry.
He was just furry green. Yeah, Moss Man. I remember that one, but I can't remember if you had it.
Moss Man.
And of course Fisto. I don't know if I remember seeing the Fisto toy.
I remember Fisto toy. That's another podcast.
Yeah.
Man.
Do you remember the rock people in it as well? There was some rock person one. I remember seeing that. Someone had that.
I think there was a rock cat. Yeah.
I think maybe like Alex or someone had quite a good collection.
Yeah, I think Alex had the good because he had Prince
collection.
Adam.
Yeah.
He went an extra level and bought Prince Adam.
Prince Adam, yeah. Yeah, I reckon I only probably had 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Whereas
but
he had a good
I love
set.
He-Man figures, man.
They were wicked.
I remember the Buzz Off one.
Buzz Off one was good. There was an evil Panther. Remember Panther?
Yeah, it was like that Jungle Gym thing, but furry again.
Furry again, yeah, for Skeletor's cat.
But do you remember the
Beastman was wicked.
They went He-Man, Skeletor, the Merman, the Beast. Like this advert, these adverts would run in between all the 6 holiday cartoons. He-Man.
I remember one advertising like by Castle Grayskull, the big.
Yeah.
And I think the other
yeah, I
one was
remember
Rock Mount, something Mountain, or there was
Snake
another
Mountain.
Snake
That's
Mountain.
where Skeletal is.
Yeah, buy that in Castle
All
Grayskull. I
that was
remember them.
expensive stuff.
They were
All those
expensive.
big accessories I weren't buying. But the figures,
The figures, yeah.
Because He-Man's like to have like trucks and stuff
Yeah,
as well, and like,
like,
speeder bikes and
spaceship
stuff.
fit,
And like, I was like,
He didn't
and
need none of
like,
that. Just the figures were good enough.
just the
Do you
figures.
remember
man.
Whiplash? I can't remember who had him, but someone had Whiplash.
Yeah, what kind of figure?
I'm sure he was like a lizardy sort of thing with a tail. I'd have to look up to see what he looked like, but I remember the name Whiplash.
There was so many, man.
There was loads
But-
of wicked ones.
and then
Trap,
you had
Trapjaw,
Trapjaw,
Merman. You said
Merman,
there was some good. Too Bad. I remember that name. I can't remember
Manny
his name.
Faces.
Manny Faces. I think he was a goodie as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Manny Faces.
Manny Faces,
Manny,
man.
and his head used to spin round in his helmet.
Yeah.
He'd spin it
and
around like
different
3
flavours.
times.
Do you remember Toy Cave, right?
Toy Cave was wicked.
And there was a time, there's a shop called Toy Cave.
Yeah.
Galaxy
Toy Cave,
Toys.
yeah,
And you
man.
look up and all the
Toy Cave.
toys would be there, right?
Every toy.
But I loved this shop so much, right, that I offered to work. I said, can I work here? Because I want to spend,
Yeah.
I want to make money to spend in your
his
shop.
Yeah.
And so I remember, were you with me? I said, can I do anything? So he gave me pamphlets and said, can you just like promote the shop and give out these pamphlets?
does
And I
ring a
won't
bell.
give you money. I'll give you little figures. You can
That
choose
does ring a bell.
figures after, not the big expensive ones. So that was just like perfect. I didn't have to go through the middleman, because my whole point of making money was to spend money in there.
Yeah,
But he said,
yeah.
no, you can have toys in here.
Yeah.
So I remember, I don't know if you remember these, because we were on He-Man. So all I had to do is stand outside the shop or just walk up and down High Street and give out a couple of flyers, just for like 45 minutes or something. I remember he said, yeah, you can have things on this aisle. And I had these He-Man toys, like miniature size, this size, that you can put on top of pencils.
Yeah.
But they were fully detailed,
Yeah.
miniature
Yeah.
figures. Oh,
They
mate,
were bad.
They were bad.
They were bad. I
This
remember
He-Man
getting
with
some of them
axe in
as
his
well.
hand.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
Vex.
Yeah.
Like Skeletor and stuff, mate.
They were good. I'd forgotten all about them. They were
We made
wicked.
He-Man figure toys for a living.
Yeah, they were good. Yeah,
That
they were
was
like
our payments,
pencil
like,
topper size.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they were wicked. They were wicked. And
Wicked.
like you say, the detail in them was as good as the 6-inch figure. It was exact
Exactly.
copy, but smaller and just a rubbery
Yeah.
version. But
Do you
they
remember
were
that?
bad.
And that's what we got for handing out a couple of
Oh,
flyers,
they
man.
were bad.
Those
Yeah,
He-Man
they were
figures,
wicked,
man.
man. I
But
love
yeah,
He-Man
staying
figures.
with cartoon characters and like Mask. Do you remember Mask?
Yeah. I remember
Mask was like,
Mask toys
people
were
don't
great.
remember Mask. Mask was like cars that would change into a plane, a helicopter that turned into a plane, a bike that turned into a helicopter, a boat that turned into a car. You remember this, right?
I remember Mars. Yeah, they were
cartoon.
made. I remember
remember-
because they were made by Kenner. Kenner made Star Wars.
That's right.
And, like these were at the time the only sort of thing that I think could compete against Star Wars. They sort of became almost as popular, but not for as long, I'd say.
Yeah.
But, the mask
The
was
cartoon
big.
didn't last
I remember
long, but
it. Yeah, remember it.
the figures were extra small.
They were good size,
They're like the
yeah.
size of those He-Man pencils.
Yeah,
type
they were
thing.
good.
But then they were proper mechanical, like
All their
elbows,
joints,
knees
yeah.
would move, the joints would move. You
Yeah,
could
they
take
were
the
good.
helmets
Take
off.
the helmets off. I
Proper
remember that. I
detailed
don't remember
toys.
much about the vehicles. I just remember the figures.
figures,
Because they
yeah.
remind me of the Action Jack figures, which I used to love as well. They were like a cross between I think you could find them in the market or a market version, but you could also find them maybe in your local newsagents or
The Action Jacks.
the Action Jacks.
Yeah.
Like they used to come in like a little
Like,
box,
like a card.
deck
you
of
get
card
deck
box.
of card box.
and they come with accessories. They remind them and Mask, but like identical.
Same kind of toy.
sort of
Action
size.
Jack was a cheap version of the
Was a
Mask.
cheap
wasn't
version
it?
of Mask.
But Action
They-
Jack was like £1. And
I
I
think
would
they were
love
$1.99
that.
or
There was a shop.
£1.50.
You remember them shops in the 80s where it's bric-a-brac, where you could buy,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
just
could
all
buy a
sorts of
clock,
things,
you could
yeah.
buy a dancing flower, and Action Jack.
Yeah.
You know that kind of shop. You know
Yeah.
where your mum would
Yeah.
buy a vase,
But there'd be
and
something
you
to
get tennis
entertain you.
balls, or you can get sticky tape, you
Yeah,
can get a
just
cheese grater,
everything.
and Action Jack. Mate, Action Jack.
Action Jack was wicked.
You could take parts of his
Yeah,
limbs off and,
yeah.
and put on next limbs.
Change them about.
Change them around.
Change 'em
I remember
around.
there was a shop I used to go to all the time on the high road, and like every Friday I got £1 or 50p, and so I save up 250p and I get £1 2 weeks later. And buy Action Jack, but I always see the same one. But I wanted the whole five of them. There's about five of them. On the back of the pack,
It would show you
would
what
see
other,
the other
yeah,
Action
other
Jacks
ones.
you could get the diver, the doctor, the medic, whatever. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I wanted the whole set so I could just change up
Stand the ball, yeah.
their limbs and that. But yeah,
And they were small.
they were small.
I love the skier. I used to remember the
The
skier.
skier.
It was all the
Skier
little
was
accessories.
always
Like,
there.
it was wicked. I love the skier
The
one. I
skier
think I had
was always there.
loads of the skiers.
Ladies and
But
gentlemen,
they
I'm
remind me
grimacing
of
now,
Mars.
man. I've got pins and needles. You know when you get pins and needles?
Getting old, John.
You know you get pins and needles in your foot and you just grimace. That feeling ain't on. But guys, whenever you get pins and needles, do you imagine the pins and needles in your foot? When I feel it, I imagine them in my foot. Does that happen to you? It's just me. Anyway.
It's just true, bro. It's just
But yeah, action.
yeah, they remind me of the
Jack.
Mask. Because I'm sure they were about the same size, maybe 2.5, maximum 3 inches, I'd say. And yeah, again, they were good little detail, and just the way they moved better than most larger figures could. The way you could poses you could make them do and stuff. Yeah, I liked Action Jack and I like Mask, but I don't really remember the Mask vehicles too much.
Yeah.
But again, they remind me of Centurions. Centurion toys.
I never had a Centurion toy.
I'm sure
Alex must have had one.
They just had holes
They just had
everywhere,
holes
didn't
so
they?
you could
Yeah,
take in Power
yeah,
Extreme and
exactly.
Yeah.
They had holes.
I never
They looked
had
like a
one.
Lego,
No, I never had
like
one
a
either,
weird
yeah,
Lego
they-
doll. sort of.
But I always did want one of them toys, man. Do you remember one called Rats? Robot Anti-Terror Squad.
That rings a bell, but I can't.
I remember just seeing the advert. Rats.
Yeah.
Robot Anti-Terror Squad. Rats. It's like some robot, like Zoids. Remember Zoids?
I remember Zoids. Zoids were quite good.
Didn't you have to build it?
You have to build it. It was like a Lego-y sort of type.
You had to build
type
them,
thing, yeah.
and then I remember there was a Tyrannosaurus Rex one.
Yeah, they're fictional mechanical life forms. I remember a Zoid, animals sort of based on a techno-organic core, which was called the Zoid core, which was like their heart. Yeah, that's all. All I can remember. There was one that you had to just. There was
some big ones, or
one,
there was.
And you had to fit his neck together, fit his tail together.
Yeah.
And then I think the body came pre-made.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I couldn't afford them ones. I just remember the small Zoids. You remember Zoids,
I
Stacks?
remember Zoids, man.
Zoids and Rats,
I'm
man.
not-
They were
Look 'em up.
early 80s. I think they come out around 81, 82 time, I think, them Zoids.
Something like that.
I don't remember if they had any cartoon to go with it. I just remember the toy.
I don't remember
And
a cartoon,
I just
no.
always think it was like a Lego thing, but I know it weren't. But it was similar to Lego, the way you sort of clipped it all together,
Yeah.
and it would move and bend.
But that's the thing. Look, we could go through every cartoon because every cartoon had
Every
a toy.
cartoon had a
So we
toy,
could be
yeah.
sitting there for ages. Like we can go through the Dungeons and Dragons, but not the cartoon Dungeons and Dragons. It was like the board game
The board
toy
game more,
Dungeons and
yeah.
Dragons figures. We can go through the Thundercat toys. We can go through the
You talking about figures and Toy Cave remind me of Smurfs. Remember the Smurf figures?
The Smurf figures that were just
Smurf
small.
figures. Yeah, you couldn't do nothing with
Yeah.
them, but
But
they were wicked.
It's just every Smurf.
You wanted
like,
to collect all
one
50.
painting,
One painting,
with a
yeah,
pencil binder
yeah.
here,
One lifting
with
a weight, like the
glasses,
strong one.
One with the tattoo on his
Yeah,
arm.
with the tattoo on his arm.
Just posing.
I remember I must have had a dozen, and I also remember having Gargamel and Azrael as well.
Yeah,
got that
yeah.
deep into collecting, and that was whenever I think about Toy Cave, I either think about you know what, or it's always these little Smurfs.
Yeah, because the Smurfs. They even stuck with the times. Sometimes you get a hip hop one.
Yeah,
or
you would,
something
yeah.
that stuck with what was going on at
Yeah.
the time. You know what I mean? Those Smurf figures were nuts.
Those Smurf
man.
figures were good,
And
man.
also,
and you could carry them about with you.
yeah,
little.
for a brief time they used to have Asterix figures as well.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, the Asterix figures. You
Yeah.
could build sets with
Asterix
those.
and Obelix.
Oh, Asterix and Obelix. You had a little
Yeah,
rock. You could
little
build a rock.
yeah.
For, you know.
With the Smurfs as well, I remember you could buy quite a big mushroom to keep them all
That's
in.
right.
A little home for them all, a big
That's
toadstool.
That's right. That's
They were
right. That's right.
wicked.
That's right.
They
I was
were-
saying, yeah, we can go through all of them, like Black Star figures,
Star.
with laser lights.
Laser lights with like a clipper built into the back of them.
Yeah.
Remember, you used to flick
Literally,
it.
yeah.
You'd have
Flick their
sparks,
chest coming out
sparks
their
flying
chest.
out their chest. Yeah, we never really got the cartoon over here, so I don't really know what it was about. But I remember the advert for laser lights.
Yeah.
I remember it.
From Black
Star's the
Star.
one.
But yeah, so there's so many figures to play with from cartoons, from like the Secret Wars figures. You know, you get the Spider-Man figures, and that,
Visionaries.
the Visionary figures, the
holographs.
Justice League figures. But you know, the one that started all this off, the one that made films realize, mate, we can make a next franchise from these figures. The one that carried on every time the film came out with the trilogy, the one that had sets, the one that had every character in different costumes, the one that you can buy bigger size toys to, guns to, helmets to, costumes to, but the figures were killing it, was Star Wars.
Star Wars, man.
Now Star Wars,
There wasn't many better toys.
Star Wars were just, it worked.
It worked. Yeah.
The whole,
It was appealing.
because when they were first produced, they didn't know how big it's going to be.
Yeah.
So apparently, when they signed the deal, Star Wars, with Kenner Toys, apparently all the actors got offered contracts to, like, say, if these toys become successful, you can
get
get
some
a royalty
royalty
from the
from it.
toys.
Yeah,
But
I
they
thought
didn't believe the
they
film was
didn't
going to be
believe
big.
it.
It was just another day in the office for them. So like, nah, toys and films don't really work. So George Lucas signed for any merchandising rights he would get, and hey,
benefits.
Yeah.
you know what happened there? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So also Star Wars figures came out just after the film came out. So like
They launched them
right away. But apparently there was a thing where I think it was for Empire Strikes Back or maybe for Star Wars that you had to sign up. And they will send you the toys when they're released, but they still didn't have them all in production yet.
Yeah.
They only had like 4 of them, like Luke, Vader, C-3PO, and Ben
Maybe they wanted
Kenobi.
to
Let's
see what
say.
the demand was like.
Yeah,
First.
and then the
Test it a
demand
bit.
went crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and Star Wars just took off because as I say, the timing was right, and by the time like Return of the Jedi came out, let's say, the toys had already come out before the film, so it already got you excited. You saw Luke was going to wear a black outfit. Now you saw how people were going to look. But
some of the early figures didn't even really look like who they were meant to be. They were
nah, not at all.
like as if they guessed like what actors were going to use.
What actors were going to use,
especially
but
for the Luke, like the Luke ones and Han ones from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Then
like the Star
they were
Wars ones.
odd
Do you
looking.
remember Luke, Ben and Obi-Wan
Vader.
Kenobi and
Yeah,
Vader?
yeah.
They all had the push out
Lightsaber in the arm.
Right.
you can have in the arm. But what I hated was there was a little tip on
Yeah,
the tip.
a weird bit. Yeah,
Like a little stringy
It'd
bit.
always break.
Why would you put a
Always-
stringy bit on the end of a lightsaber?
Stringy bit.
And
It would
but I
always
remember Luke's lightsaber was yellow
Yeah, it was yellow in the white suit.
in the white
The
suit.
white kung fu suit with
Yeah.
the beige trousers.
Yeah.
It was yellow. Yeah.
So I think that was probably the first Star Wars figure I bought.
Yeah, I think it was mine as well.
The Luke Skywalker.
Luke, Leia, and
And-
Vader would have been the first.
Yeah, and then
maybe
Vader.
Han
I think
Solo.
Vader was next, but you needed
Yeah,
the
you
villain
needed
for him
the
to
villain,
fight.
yeah.
And then I think it was Ben Kenobi. And then I liked how
Kenobi,
R2D2 looked.
R2D2.
He just carried on.
Yeah, no, it was.
He just carried on.
that
Mate,
was like
it was
the
an
order.
addiction. That was my first
was
addiction.
That was an addiction.
It was just like I need to get this one.
Yeah.
And I'm referring back to this shop, Toy Cave. When you walked into this place, ladies and gentlemen,
They
it was
displayed
just
it.
a gallery of Star Wars.
Star Wars,
As soon
yeah.
as your head tilted up, it was just Star Wars.
Yeah. All of the larger ships and
Millennium
vehicles.
Falcon,
Oh my
They all
God.
like- yeah, the
I always
wall-
wanted an X-wing.
You had an X-wing.
I had an X-wing.
I had the Falcon.
But it was a lot of saving
I
up.
really
Yeah,
wanted
I
the
bet.
X-wing.
I saved 4 weeks of Friday dinner to get an X-wing.
Yeah, nothing for 4 weeks, goddamn.
That's why I'm so slim now, because I sacrificed Star Wars figures, man. It was like because them days it's option. You eat or you play.
Yeah.
I'll have some crackers and play.
I'm alright with beans on toast.
I'll have beans and
I'll have
toast
the
this
money.
Friday.
Give me
and
the money.
play. I'll nick some chips with my brother.
Yeah.
Nick a piece of chicken with my sister, and I'll play.
I'll be alright.
I'll be alright.
I
Because
remember you had that
I had
X-Wing,
to have this
man.
Star Wars. I had the X-wing, man.
X-Wing is
but it was a
wicked.
sacrifice, you know.
X-Wing
And they were the
was
lessons
good.
you had to learn. You couldn't just get those things. You had to earn those things, man.
I had the Falcon, but that was like a late on toy for me. I had lots before it, and I always wanted an X-Wing and a Falcon, but I got the Falcon late
Falcon
on.
was expensive.
But one
It
of-
was about 50 quid.
It was,
back
yeah, it was
then.
big back then, man. One of the first, the first actual vehicle I got. I don't know if it was an Imperial vehicle or a Rebel vehicle, but it was a transporter.
Speaking of Star Wars,
It was
Wow.
a transporter, not a TIE fighter.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a transporter.
a
and
grey transporter.
The grey transporter.
It wasn't even in the film.
It wasn't even in
And
the
you
film.
could put six
You could
figures,
fit
3 on each side.
two people
Two
in
at
the front, and then three people each side. In little,
and a cargo hold at the back.
yeah, and a cargo holder, and on the top it had, I think it had 6 buttons that made. Not that noise. Actually, no, it made that noise.
It made that noise,
It
and
made a blaster noise.
And it made something
An
like
R2D2 noise.
Yeah.
It was like C-3PO talking.
Yes.
Which makes me think it was a rebel vehicle, but it was dark grey. I'm sure it was a dark grey colour.
I
which makes me
remember this.
think,
It was an
remember that?
imperial. It was an imperial people carrier or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
I remember
That was
that.
the first
I had that
vehicle.
as well.
Remember
and I
that,
think it's
man.
what parents bought. When you said I want
Yeah.
a Star Wars thing, I think it was
It must have
cheap.
been one of the
It
first
wasn't
ones
in the
that got-
film.
yeah.
So I think parents just went, look, it says Star Wars on it.
Yeah, just have that.
They'll have that because everybody had that, man.
Everybody had that, yeah.
And it had nothing to do with Star Wars, but you could put your figures in, and it said Star Wars on the box. I never saw it in any of the films,
No, I don't remember seeing any of the
you
films
know.
either.
But I also had the Action Man sized Boba Fett.
Yes, you did. Yeah, I remember that.
And that was like,
Yeah.
you could look through his eye like
Yeah.
Bionic Man, proper detailed, hold his gun and that. That Boba Fett would probably fetch a lot of money
That'd
now.
be worth
But
money
you
now.
had life-size Ben Kenobi.
and a C-3PO. Yeah, I think they must have been nearly 2 foot figures. I think they were like this
Yeah.
size figures.
Jeez.
So they were like a foot and a half. Must have been
That's
foot and a half.
massive. Yeah.
1.5 feet tall, I'd say. And yeah, they were big. Yeah, I thought you had Vader. I thought you had Darth Vader.
It
in it.
was you that had Vader.
Me as well.
It was you.
Yeah, I did
I
have
remember
Vader.
being in Chris's house. He was about.
I remember they used to
5,
sit
6 years
on
old,
top of my
and
wardrobe.
you had Vader, and
Yeah.
his cape was proper material, cloth
Yeah,
material.
proper cloth material. Yeah, I remember he's proper shiny, man. His
Yeah.
helmet, it was. Oh, I wish
Yeah,
I still had them.
you had the
I
Vader,
wish I
man.
still had them.
Hey, Jim, we could talk ages just on Star Wars
Just in
figures.
Star Wars. Yeah.
So much landscapes going on, man. But we got to move on because we got to explore all the toys. You understand? The toy exploring, man. So 18 figures.
18 figures.
18.
That was another
figures,
good one.
man.
I always wanted the van.
The van.
Yeah, I didn't know. I don't think I
Because
had the van.
the van came with the Star Wars size 18 figures. But
Yeah.
Star Wars size 18 figures, you
Yeah.
can move all their limbs.
Yeah.
And they had tracksuits, like a green one, a black one, a white one.
Yeah.
But the other side, the He-Man, let's say, size 18 figures, were just the 18.
They were just 18.
No villains. But the one you're saying with the van, you could buy villains.
Yeah.
You could
for
buy
them
the
to fight.
you could buy the villains. I've got a picture here of the villains.
Yeah, you could buy the villains as well.
I remember the villains, innit? Yeah, because
Yeah,
the 18 figures come in. You only had one large. There was the one big 1 foot 12-inch tall Mr. T. That had the cloth cut, the cloth clothes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had
that you
one.
could buy. And then the like you say, you had the 6-inch range with like the He-Man size, and then they done a 3 3/4 inch, which was obviously the, like you say, the Star Wars sort of size ones. That was the 3 sizes they come in. Yeah, I remember them coming out 1982. 1982 they come out.
How did they come out?
Yeah, we must have been 7 or 8.
We wouldn't have had them in 1982,
Yeah,
though, did we?
yeah, we come as soon as they come out. I remember either we first saw them. You used to get the Argos catalogue first.
Yeah,
And
you
it-
see,
it
Argos
used to
Catalog
see-
was the
It
It
premium.
would give you previews
It's
like.
like, this is what's
it would
coming.
give you
Yeah,
previews,
yeah,
man.
first.
I'm sure that's where we might have seen them first. But wow, look,
That is-
they're coming. Like
they're
there's some-
coming.
I'm sure that's where we saw them. I was
Yeah,
either there
man.
or Woolworths, but we got them when they come out. See, 82, we would have been about about 7.
I
7 or 8.
remember one summer saying, I think Alex got them first, and then you got a couple, and then I remember they started selling them in Woolworths for a bargain, like 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
I think that's when I
telling my
finished the set
parents,
off. I got them from
yeah,
there.
you can get 2 for 1, and I got
Yeah.
all 4
All
at
four
one
at
go,
yeah.
because
yeah.
it was in the
I was
sale.
still on. I was still on 2. Then.
Sales.
I was still on 2.
Yeah.
I think I got Murdoch and Mr. T straight away.
And they
They're
had
my
a
favourite
whirl
two.
of guns. You could buy about,
Yeah.
you get about 8 guns with them.
Mr. T come with a toolbox, man.
toolbox.
You come with wrench, toolbox, M60. It's like what?
M60, M16, handgun,
They were good.
grenade,
Yeah.
dynamite.
They were good.
Damn.
I remember them bad guys you were talking about. That was Cobra, Viper, Python, and Rattler with the four bad guys. And again, they were only available in
The 4
the
snakes.
smaller
Isn't
size. The smaller size.
Yeah, I remember them, man.
Yeah, when I saw them, I was like, I do remember them now. All sort of
18.
hillbilly bit looking, sort of that. 18 were
I
wicked,
remember
man.
that time.
They were good, but yeah, like I said, I always wanted the van. And I remember for the smaller size, you could get the little chopper for Murdoch. It was a little, a weird lightweight chopper thing, and there was Face's car. You could get
Yeah, I
the white,
remember
like a
Corvette.
white Corvette.
Yeah.
So there was some good vehicles for the smaller ones, but it was them He-Man size ones that I loved, man.
It was, man.
They were wicked.
But nah, yeah, and just so many figures, like moving on, and people, and there were so many figures to choose from that different groups of friends chose different groups of toys, let's say, and I remember when we were young, we must have been about 10, 11, and we went to a famous toy store in central London.
Oh yeah.
And it's the first time I'd ever been to this toy store,
Yeah.
because I can't afford that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
of course.
But when you're little, you get a travel card, 70p, jump on, jump off buses, straight to Trafalgar Square,
Yeah.
and hit this big
Bang
toy
outside.
store.
Yeah, right
Bang outside the toy store. And so we had a fun day in this toy store. Fun day, you know them days, like it was like seeing it was the catalog experience for
Yeah.
real.
For
But in
real.
the catalog,
Yeah,
you're just
yeah.
pointing at that toy, circling it.
Yeah.
But now you're
Now
actually
you're
holding
in
the
the-
You're
box.
holding it, seeing it.
You're
having a
looking at it.
Demo of it.
Yeah, so it's about 4 of us, about 10 years old. Looking at all these toys, wicked day, looking at the Star Wars section, looking at this section, looking at the train sets, here, going there,
Nothing
seeing
in
life
particular,
size.
just browsing,
Just
not really.
browsing.
Browsing.
Having a lovely day. So the day's over. So we go to leave this toy store now. We all bop out the toy store and security grab us. Security grab us.
About a minute down the road,
A
isn't it?
minute down the
About
road.
A minute down the
We're like
road.
10 years old. What's security grabbing us for? Oh, you lot have been shoplifting. Eh?
What?
Mate, they dragged us back into the store, took us through the back. So I got a proper
We
tour
got to
of
see
the place.
behind the scenes.
I got to see
I'm
behind
sure
the
there was
scenes.
like a little cell downstairs.
Yeah, I
I'm
got to see
sure it
behind the
was like a
scenes,
little
mate.
cell.
got to see where they view things, stuff on camera. And what had happened is one of us had stolen some muscle figures. You remember muscle figures?
I remember. I'm never going to forget them because of his experience.
Little pink dudes.
Millions of unusual small creatures lurking everywhere is exactly what muscle means.
Yeah. Oh, damn, okay.
that's what. Because remember it was M. Dot.
Yeah. And they were in like a tub.
Millions of unusual creatures.
And one of us, not me or Chris.
We were good. We were good kids.
Yeah,
man.
we're good. They
We went to look at toys.
We just went to look at toys.
Yeah.
And one of us, who was the richest one out of us, stole something from there. So we got a grand tour of the place, and they were gonna call all our parents, but we said, nah, you're the one that done it.
Yeah, call his parents.
Your dad has to come, and his dad was a chef
Locally,
in that
to that
vicinity,
area, not far away.
So he picked us up, looking vexed, obviously,
angry, man.
angry, and when he took us back to his restaurant, and as punishment,
Is that the same day? You got back
he hung us over a
tank
of lobsters, like we was James Bond, like
feed us to the lobsters.
You know what you do in 80s action films?
It was like a James Bond.
He hung us over lobsters. Said, "You're not going to do this again, are you, mate?" But did our parents come to collect us?
I think they had to.
Didn't he just take us?
I can't remember. I can't remember, but
yeah,
from that
first
day,
time
man,
I
that
went
was
in
bad.
this toy store, and
we get shift for that.
I get shifted.
For something we don't even know about.
For a crime I didn't commit. But look at these little muscle toys. No one liked these toys apart from this dude.
Yeah. They were like pink. Do you remember them?
I remember them.
They were
I
like
remember
pink.
the logo, but I don't remember the
They were
toys,
like hard pink figures, little rubbery figures, and I'm sure they come in a dustbin, a see-through little trash can dustbin. And I think they were a big hit in Japan. They come over to us, but they were like
the big in Japan.
They were meant to be like wrestling figures. They were
Yeah.
meant to be like little wrestlers, but you had like Alien one, a brick. I remember there's a square bricky looking one, almost pixely looking in today's terms. Like
Yeah.
but yeah, they were odd. They were definitely something you wouldn't want to like. You wouldn't risk nicking. Them.
Yeah.
They weren't that
Nick
good.
something
Man.
properly.
Yeah, they weren't that good, man. It was. Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? Get us in trouble, man. We had a good day out,
we
man.
got to see more of this shop than what we planned to see. Yeah.
Exactly. Got more than what we bargained for, man.
Which went good.
But I say, looking through that shop, we saw so many things. And when you go into these big stores, you always see like someone handling something, like something flying in the air that he's pushing, or something that he's throwing. But you'd always want to look at is the cars, man.
Cars like the ones you could sit in.
The ones you could sit in.
Electric motor powered. That
you always wanted one of them. I never had one of them.
I never had one.
I had a pedal
one.
power. Yeah. I had a pedal power police car or something like, but never the Range Rover, the powered Range Rover.
Do you know what? Going to pedal powers. I remember there was a shop just across the road from me, and in the window. I thought it's now in the window. They had the pedal power Batmobile. Oh my god!
That would be bad, yeah.
I saw this Batmobile every day again.
Like the 80s Batmobile.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember
Again, ladies and gentlemen, I saved up. For this stuff. Yeah. And so like, I don't know how long it took me to save for this, mate. 50p's with the hands on the front. Remember 50p's had the hands around them, right? And pound notes. And I had this Batmobile. It was amazing. I didn't leave. You know, it's like a low rider. You're sitting low, and this thing is pedaling around, looking around.
It was a low
Mate,
rider.
it was the best toy I ever had, man. And that was my first time of achievement. It's like, I'm gonna get that car in that window.
Yeah, it's that.
And whatever it takes, by hook or by crook, I'm getting that. I got it, man.
I think most of us
Just
done
for
it
saving
with a push
kid.
bike as a kid, and it's like, I'm gonna buy that bike.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's
mate.
wicked, man.
Sorry. So
the battery powered ones, man.
I
They were for the
never-
rich kids.
I never even been in one. I've never
Nah,
been in one.
the only time you get to go in one, which again I didn't back in them days. I think they were about, but I hardly ever went to one until later. Was Toys R Us.
Yeah.
You know, they're you can pull them out and have a little go in it, get the battery working, and have a little go in them.
As long as you got like a child with you or something.
Yeah, as long as you got.
And it's jumping on,
just get down,
have a quick spin.
Jeffrey ain't about anymore, is he, man? They're gone. But yeah, them toys, man. Like I know more or less lately when I've seen them, it's been like Audis and like the Range Rovers.
Yeah,
But back in them days, it was the Ferrari, little Porsche. I always wanted one, man.
wanted
Never had
one,
anywhere to go in it.
No, but
didn't
just
have the
to
room
have one,
for it.
yeah, you know.
Didn't have the
Want
room
one,
for it.
man. But yeah, cars, man. Cars were all different shapes and sizes.
They were
I used to
wicked.
love seeing the little remote control cars, man.
Ah.
You remember when the Knight Rider remote control car came
RC
about?
cars, yeah.
Oh
I wanted
my
that so
God.
bad.
Did
that
you
was
have
another.
that?
I had that, yeah.
Well,
but-
Bikram had that as well.
Yeah, he got it first, and I was like,
Yeah.
I want it. I kept going on. Eventually, I got it.
The
But
Knight Rider.
that again, I've got a similar story like your Superman story with that. It wasn't long after having it, I thought, right, this thing can turbo boost. I know I've seen it jump things, so I'm going to launch it off my bedroom, which was a first floor flat roof looking over the garden. And yeah, I just launched it off the roof into the garden and bust it up, man. It was messed up, but that was wicked. It had a switch underneath to like put it in high power or low power. That's all I remember about it.
Yeah.
And I don't think the light went back and forth. It just lit up red, I think. I don't know if it actually went up and down.
I can't remember, but I remember the car.
Yeah.
But every TV program that came out at the time had a remote control
It had a
car.
car to go with
But
it.
I always used to love just a random car as well, just a flashy car. Do you know what I mean? But going back to the markets had a lot of them.
They
cars.
had the
Yeah,
cheap
a lot of them.
remote
You remember,
control
the,
cars.
remember the cheap market ones, right?
battered the
They had
batteries.
like another. They had a circle in the middle with another set of wheels, and it would just stop and go around.
Yeah. Yes.
It could turn on the spot. Like,
Yeah, and
turn
then
on
stop and then go forward
the,
again.
go forward, yeah.
But remember the cheap ones that had cables still attached to it?
Oh, you had to follow it.
You had to follow
Oh,
it.
You used to
Do
get
you
a dog
remember
like that as well,
Car
didn't you?
dog, yeah.
Do you remember the remote control ones where it was a clicker, a really loud clicker, and you click it, and it would go forward, and you click it again, and it would
Yeah.
stop. And if you clicked it twice, it would reverse. But the clicker was like a metal sheet inside of a plastic thing.
Yeah.
And it was really loud.
Yeah, I remember it.
So like
I can remember the clicker thing.
that was a
I remember
early
the clicker thing.
I
remote
think I
control.
remember that, man.
Yeah,
I had a
liked
Porsche, one of them.
Remote
Oh.
control cars.
Remote control car.
They were good.
But they didn't. My attention span wasn't long on them because one.
Well,
Always
the
have cheap
batteries ran out.
batteries.
Yeah, the batteries
And
would
the
run
bat-
out.
and the
It wouldn't
batteries
last long.
went. And
I
it-
dabbled a little bit in the petrol ones back in them days as well, but again, they were so expensive to get into.
Yeah, I
Half the
couldn't-
time you had to build the car
couldn't
yourself.
do that.
So
The two that I had to go on, they were ones you had to build yourself.
Yeah.
So
once you built it, and
yeah,
got it
it's a
going,
good
it was-
achievement to build it
And
and,
they were
fill it up.
fast.
They were wicked, man. 50 mile an hour, them things, man.
Yeah.
I'd still like one today.
Yeah.
They're really good. I like the nitro cars.
Yeah, I didn't go that
And
deep.
I was happy
That's
with like a Rough Rider back in the days.
4x4, you
Rough-
can try to stop them.
That's the one. Remember the advert? Remember the advert?
Man, all you had to put in is one
Rough
AA
Rider,
battery.
One AA battery. You couldn't stop it. It would go over
It would
everything.
just-
It had
yeah.
like foamy
Remember-
sort of wheels,
Yeah,
didn't
I
it?
remember on the advert it went over logs and
Logs,
stuff. and-
gravel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
wicked. I love the
Yeah.
Rough Rider.
I done the same. I tried to
What
do the
was?
same things. I wanted the rough. Like I had one that looked like a full guy truck.
Yeah,
kind of
that was the one I liked. The full guys
with the,
truck
with the
one.
chunky wheels. And
Yeah.
just turn it on and watch it just go
Yeah.
over stuff,
Do you
man.
remember when monster trucks started to become
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot,
Man,
yeah.
the remote control big, or what was the other remote control thing? It was
Big
a
tracks.
white big track.
Big
Tracks.
tracks,
Big Track was
man.
good.
Yeah.
Again, that was another big Christmas.
Track.
Oh, they were about £100, weren't they?
Huh?
Well,
Yeah,
they were
they must
Yeah,
have
but
been, yeah.
it was another
Expensive.
big Christmas, and that Christmas, I think my sister got Sister Twister. My brother got Big Track,
My brother got Big Track
and
one
I
Christmas.
got Evil Knievel.
Oh, the wind up.
The wind up Evil
Oh,
Knievel.
that one
Remember,
was
these Christmases
wicked.
only come
Yeah.
every
Oh,
10
yeah,
years,
yeah.
these bonus Christmas. And this Evil Knievel on his bike was
That was
big.
Yeah.
bad. There was a
Yeah.
couple of different types. I think you could get a white outfit one. There was another one. A different
I had the
colour.
original white
was the
outfit.
white
one.
outfit
That was with the red
the
winder.
Red winder.
There was one with-
You could take the helmet
There was
off.
one with
Yeah.
a blue winder that had a different. Had the stars and stripe. I think it was stars and stripes suit.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they were wicked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd never
Knievel,
seen a toy
man.
like that today. I've never.
Amazing toy. I remember.
How did it stay upright? It must have been balanced or weighted.
Because once it went, it was just.
once it went,
Once
it
it
was
went,
up.
it went.
It was upright.
I remember this wind up
Oh,
my
it was
corridor.
wicked.
Yeah.
Making,
Yeah.
You could make
letting
it
that
jump
off,
down your
man.
stairs. It wouldn't bust or anything.
Wouldn't bust. Evil Knievel.
That was a wicked
Do
toy.
you-
That is
you
one
know
of
what I
the
used to do with my
classics.
Evil Knievel? Yeah, I don't know if you remember like the track type thing you could get.
Like a jump thing for it.
It's like a plastic
ramp.
track, and it's got little joiners.
Yeah.
And you join it
Yeah,
together. and you
join
can
it
do a
together.
loop the loop thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it goes through the loop the loop. It's
Yeah.
got the little.
Yeah.
So I used to do one all the way down my
Fire
stairs.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to do one all the way down
Yes.
my stairs, down into towards the front door.
That's
And I'd
wicked.
put Evil Knievel at the top.
Yes.
And I'd wind him up and I'd let him go down and
Go
he'd bust a
down.
wheelie on the way down.
That was wicked.
Just
Oh
Oh man,
man.
one of them today, man.
Evil
Still.
Knievel. That was a Christmas. But then me and brother will swap. Okay, I played Big Track for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You play Big, and with Big Track,
Track was
you could,
educational.
You could program
You
it.
could program it. It was one of the first programmable toys. Yeah, and it was designed to try and give kids a bit of maths help, help with maths. You were you were using meters. You wanted to go forward 5 meters, turn right 3 meters, wasn't it? Or might have been in feet in them days. I think it was in meters. I think it was when Big Track was good. And do you remember there was a trailer for Big Track that you could get an extra stuff in it?
But I remember on advert, the kid got an apple for his dad or something.
Yeah. They go all the way into his room.
Yeah.
Funny you should say that because around them times when those adverts were out, do you remember the robot with the tray?
Yeah.
Yes.
The little robot with the tray.
I always wanted. And it would bring drinks. And you're like, I want the robot to bring drinks.
Yes, I remember that robot, man.
Yeah, I remember. And it had a blue headlamp, Big Track. I remember having blue headlamp that used to light up, and it had 16 commands.
And you could fire. You could make it stop at someone and shoot.
Yeah, and shoot like it's photon cannon, photon laser. Big Track was bad.
That was big. That was the toy. That toy. The sensation of that toy lasted for about a decade. Like it didn't matter if, say, it came out in '85. It didn't matter if you got it in '88.
It's still Big Track.
It's still Big Track. It's like Big Track.
Yeah.
Do you know, mate?
It was similar to like a Tonka truck. That was the evolution from Tonka truck up to like our Big Track, where Tonka truck was basic.
But I think they brought one called Little Track. You know.
Yeah, I think there was a mini one.
Yeah, but it wasn't popular.
No. I think that might have been like 10 years after the original. Yeah. It was a bit later, but it wasn't as popular. But the big one was wicked. I like that, man.
Big Track, so like cars, man. Yeah. So I remember we were talking about toy cars a couple of weeks ago. You were talking about penny racers.
Penny racers, yeah. If you remember them, they were like, must have been only about an inch and a half long. But if you put a 1p, they had a slot. They were the original pullback. You know, you got your pullback racers in it. This one, you rev it back a little bit, hold it back. If you let it go, it would just fly straight in a straight line really fast. But with a 1p in the little slot in the back, it would spin and do tricks. Yeah. It would do other stuff. Like they were popular, man. Everyone used to bring them. I can remember bringing them into school. Yeah. Penny racers.
Keyring racers.
And the keyring one, the one that used to push into the spring. Yeah, the keyring. I think they were more American muscle cars, but man, them things used to fly. Hold them down on the ground. I can't even remember how you used to release them. I think it must have been
you squeeze the key,
squeeze something, wasn't it? Yeah, squeeze
and it would release the spring.
But there were also ones that you could manually rev yourself.
Pullback ones. That's how the penny races were, but you had to balance it with the penny.
Yeah.
But the keyring one was you loaded it with the key, and that's
you loaded it. It had spring loaded, and you squeeze it, and then the spring releases, and it flies.
They were wicked. I forgot all about them till recently, man.
Perfect for Toy Day.
How wicked they were.
But as good as they were, you know, mechanical, pulling back, running themselves, you always loved the Corgi or Matchbox cars, man. That were just the cars from movies.
They've always been classics,
Just like, because you could get the really small ones, or like the phone size ones, let's say. Mobile phone size.
The ones with the doors open.
The doors open,
the bonnet.
and it would have, and they were just in pose. Like I remember they done it with Kojak, Starsky and Hutch, Professionals, any action TV show that was on at the time.
They would launch the car. If it had a car in it,
you would get the Corgi with the action figure, like the White Lotus from James Bond.
That was weird. And rockets that shot out the back.
That was the Saint.
The Saint,
the Jag from the Saint, I had that as well.
Yes, the James Bond one with the ejector seat.
The Aston Martin. Yeah,
all of them, man.
The minis from the Italian Jobs. Them sort of ones.
Everybody had one of them.
Yeah. One of my favourites was the Batmobile though. Like you were talking about the Batmobile, that shape, the 8 is, the one that, if you remember, it had a metal blade that shot out the bonnet. Yeah. If you remember it at the front, and it was quite dangerous in them days. I'm sure I cut myself on it a couple of times.
I remember the one that with the matchstick in the back.
The same one. Yeah, you put the matchsticks in the 2 rocket launcher things. It had the flames that shot out the back.
You had toys, you had vehicles for everything. It got so mad they started making up ones. I remember Spider-Man had a helicopter.
Yeah. Tom and Jerry. I can remember a Tom and Jerry mobile.
Yeah.
I remember I think I spoke about it. I remember buying it for someone's birthday.
Do you remember Superman had a spaceship?
Superman had,
and it had fists, so you could press the buttons and the red fists
would shoot out.
Yeah.
That was a popular one.
That was Superman had his space. He could fly.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was popular.
Yeah,
a metal spaceship with 2 red fists. You press the side buttons and the fists would come out.
Like a Batcopter. It was a helicopter one as well. All Matchbox or Corgi.
Matchbox and Corgi.
They done a wicked. They rinsed it with the cartoons.
But the classic cars were good from
the
TV
classic
programs.
Cars were good. But the smaller size ones, the ones that you would chip about with the paintwork off of it because you would play with them so much, them ones they were wicked. So much. Maybe Hot Wheels come along after that. I didn't really like the Hot Wheels cars too much because some of them were a bit like futuristic or weird looking, but I like the tracks and accessories that they come with them. Like there's been some good Hot Wheels tracks
with them,
some ones that actually propel the cars down. Like there's one we put batteries in. It's got wheels, and as the car hits the wheels, it launches
makes
it
it-
down the
yeah,
track, man.
yeah.
There's some good Hot Wheels tracks out there. They're good. So I used to like the Hot Wheels tracks back in the day. I think nowadays you clamped it to a table and gravity took over, innit? You had the clamp on the table, you had the loop, and then it'd go, like you say, you put it down the stairs, and have you loop the loops going down the
Just being
stairs.
creative, man. The amount of things
Kids
you
are
find
doing
to
this
do.
these days.
The amount of fun you think to do in your own house and make it into a world of adventures, man.
Exactly.
But the biggest world of adventures, playing with someone else. Markets sold these in abundance, and it wouldn't stick together sometimes. But if you bought the quality ones, you could buy sets, you could buy fake grass, you could buy checkered flags, you could buy lights, and that was if you had a racing set.
Yeah, Scare Electric.
Scare Electric was the king
Scare Electric was the
of
one.
racing sets, man.
There was a lot
It
of
was up against
bootleg.
TCR. TCR was another big
TCR
brand.
was
Yeah.
good.
TCR was,
I think
but
they had
they're
like a button.
expensive. Yeah,
They had like a
TCR
button
was the
controller.
next level. I couldn't afford.
That- no,
Scare
but-
Electric was expensive, but
Yeah,
TCR
was next up, but that was easier to control that button than that trigger thing.
Electrics was
Scare Electric was
unique,
more
man.
popular.
The first
It was-
one I had, I remember my dad bringing it home. It was second hand. Someone had given it to him, but I thought it was amazing, man.
it's the
It was the
best
F1 edition. It was only the figure of 8 with the
what?
banked thing, but it was the F1 edition. I think it was the yellow camel. Might have been a
Benetton.
Lotus or Benetton or something, and then I had the one that had 4 wheels at the back and the two.
Oh
I think it was
my
a green,
God, that-
green Renault. And I'm sure if I had that
my
now
days.
as a Scare Electrics car, that's worth some dough now, man.
Oh my
Don't know what
god,
happened.
because they're proper like die cast. metal cars.
Yeah. They're not like how they're made
Yeah,
today. I've
nah,
seen them
nah.
recently, and I thought this
Yeah.
ain't how Scare Electrics
Nah,
used
the
to
ones
be
back
like.
then were heavy.
Yeah, these were heavy.
weighty.
These were heavy. And then my friend who lived down the road, who had both Evil Knievel's, the blue and the red, he had the motorbike and sidecar versions, which were wicked as well, man. Wow. The proper metal again, little man hanging onto the sidecar, all official like Scare Electrics.
I
So
love
I remember when we
Scare
got it,
Electrics, man.
it needed them two little connectors underneath. You had like two little bits of
Little
strip.
fuzzy bits.
Yeah, and the only place we could get them, I think at the time, was Hamleys or Selfridges, because I remember having to take a trip all the way into town to go and get these replacement little fibery metal things to make it work.
Those
But
things, if they messed up, your cars were effed.
they were gone.
yeah.
They would
It
go
was done.
rusty. They would turn green.
You had to look after. I remember
Yeah.
always looking at those bits after each
Cleaning
race.
them.
Yeah,
Making sure that's
they were-
safe.
Yeah.
Because the car, if you press that button too hard, the car's always flying off the tracks.
Yeah, you damaged them, man.
Yeah, and you always check that bit.
So the track was hard enough to put
Yeah.
together
Yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
wasn't
And
it?
remember when you put the track together and like, you know, you're racing with someone, your mate, your brother, someone, you press these buttons and then someone's track wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So you'd put both tracks, both cars
Both
on the
cars
same
on
track
your
and get
track.
that to push that around. And when that was independent, you go, okay, you're all right now, and then put your car back on your track and then race. Mate, or wait for him to come round.
Warming it up.
Watching
Warming
his car.
engine
Okay,
up.
he's coming now.
Yeah.
Mate.
They were wicked. But, yeah,
But-
like you said, the accessories you could get,
Yeah,
even just
everything.
figures to sit in
Stands,
stands.
waving and stuff,
Mad.
families and stuff.
But I think some people took that as far as Hornby and the train set. You know,
Yeah.
like how
And would have
a lot of
like attic
granddads
full.
would have attic
4,
fulls.
6 lanes.
You crawl into the middle and you got all
Yeah.
your controllers and watch all your trains go around you, but it's got trees and everything, man.
When I used to go to like the car shows in that Earls Court, you go upstairs and they would have like an 8-lane Skeletrix.
That's wicked, man.
And everyone's there. It would be
That's like Mario Kart in
Yeah,
real life
exactly.
at our
Yeah,
age.
exactly.
Exactly. Like kids these days can just plug a
Yeah, it's not the
PlayStation
same.
and
Not the
you
same.
know. But this is physical. You know, the timing on those corners.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
it has
Not
to
to
be
fly
right.
around that
Yeah.
after track
Yeah.
is impeccable. You had to be.
Yeah.
You had to slow down, but
You had to
when
get
you're a
it
kid,
right.
just press it.
Yeah, it weren't a matter of
But you
just
gotta
pressing
take your
it.
time
You
with
had
that,
to-
man.
Yeah, you have to time your
Yeah.
speeds and they used to come in nice plastic containers like screwed into the base, wouldn't they? So they didn't move about when you
Yeah.
bought your new car.
Yeah.
It was in like a proper
see,
display case, so you could just display them.
Whenever
Yeah.
we used to go into a toy cave,
Yeah.
that's where I'd go to. I would
that's
just
another thing
go
I'd
and just
look
look
at.
at all the
Yeah.
Skeletric cars.
You could just
and
buy a strip of track in there.
Yeah,
chicane,
yeah, you get a
or
corner. Or chicane,
yeah.
yeah.
Used to love it. You could just go in there and
couple
buy a bit of
barriers.
track. Couple of clip-on barriers and some flags.
Nah, you're right. You're right.
Loved it. And there was another thing, like a timer that actually, I think as you went
Yeah.
past it, it hit something. So it'd click lap 1,
Yeah.
lap 2, lap 3. I
Yeah.
remember getting that. Might have been Pirelli or
Do you
something.
remember
at the
like
time.
later on when they started to do the smoke start? So it's like a wheel spin.
Yeah.
I never seen that.
And then it'll start smoking like
Yes.
it.
No, I've never seen
I
that.
saw an advert.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit,
Made
I've
the
never
new
seen
one.
that.
I always wanted that.
I wouldn't mind getting back in.
But
this
then they
game.
started linking films with it. They're like a Knight Rider.
I remember Dukes
Yeah.
of Hazzard. I think that's
Yeah.
And I did-
Yeah. You had one of them ones.
One of them ones.
Yeah,
That
You had the 18 one.
18 one.
18.
I know the other mate you just mentioned. Didn't they have like cops and robbers? Or one
Yes.
one was a police car, like
What's,
a
Smoking a Bandit
like
one or
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I can remember. Well, I can remember a Smoking a Bandit one. There was the main car with a black and white police car, but I remember there was like a Must have been a blue. It was a blue and white, so maybe a New York Police or something.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a Scalextrics. It was like that TCR or something like that.
Yes.
And a ramp used to go, and you could go over a ramp, and if you there was an advert to go with it. If you timed it right, you could make them crash into the ramp as you hit it or something.
Yeah.
But that was a popular one back in the day. Yeah. Oh, I love them sort of games, man.
Mate.
They or Scalextrics.
Scalextrics, man. Scalextrics. And that was like, you know, having that, he said you got the settings and that, and the still figures. But another popular game that was still figures, that you would move yourself with your finger. You probably like this, Stags. Sabutio. Now, Stags, you want to explain to the listeners what Sabutio is? No one doesn't know what Sabutio is.
Oh, well, it's the ultimate table football game, isn't it?
It is. I didn't have one.
I had one. Yeah, I had Italia 90.
Wow.
Well, my brother had one, but he never let me play it.
Yeah.
And you know you could.
How would you exactly play this game?
Well, you set up your team, and they'd be on these little like semicircular bases. So you just flick it with your little forefinger,
and it'd always bounce upright again. The way it was weighted and the way it was designed, it'd always come back up.
I don't think I've ever played a full game.
Yeah, I used to play it. The ball was oversized, and I remember you could even go and buy like Adidas Tango at the time balls. Yeah, I think mine must have been around that. One
but could you actually be like Arsenal?
Yeah.
You buy Arsenal.
I had Chelsea, I had England. I think I had Tottenham, and I had some dodgy teams like Man United and someone else who come with it.
You had Tottenham, so you did have a dodgy team.
Yeah, I had a dodgy team as well. Yeah, but that was another one where to get the figures, there wasn't really many local places at the time. Adams, that was another trek to Regent Street or somewhere to go and get the figures.
The toy shop by Bush Market on Goldot Road.
Oh, remember that toy shop?
Remember that toy shop?
Yes.
That toy shop was full of Sabutio.
Zodiac or something.
Something like that.
Yes.
They were hard to find. You could get you could get AstroTurf pictures. You could get the normal felt pictures.
You could get the stadium.
You could get the stadium, the floodlights.
Why did it?
It's still about. I think.
But this take over and Pro Evolution go, look, we're
must have.
in the computer age now. Say nothing. But that was
basically.
That was FIFA for us back in the day. Do you remember I don't know if it was a budget version, but there was another version where you push their heads and their foot clicked, but they had a magnet. So
had a magnet
on
the
base.
base.
Sort of aim it right, the other man would pick it up where it's magnet to him, and then you turn him and click his head. And that was more interactive, but Sabutio was the original.
Hold on, there was another one. There was another one in a dome. What was it? And it was like you'd be on end and you'd flick. You'd press the number. Where the ball wasn't, it would flick it up.
That does sound familiar.
And then it would land somewhere else, and that person, if it landed in the other person's, they'd press like number 6, and that would flick the ball up.
That does sound familiar. I don't know what that was.
Can't remember what that was.
Yeah, these little footy games, they were kind of good. I say it was hard to save a shot in Sabutio.
Yeah, he was just like that all the time.
He was just on a stick, and but no, it was good. I did like Sabutio. That was a good one. But going back to the going back to the cars for a bit, there was one that I loved, Micro Machines.
Micro Machines gonna crash on the fight. I remember Micro Machines.
I like Micro Machines because it crossed over. They had Transformer Micro Machines, and these were tiny versions.
Star Wars.
They had Star Wars Micro Machines. Micro Machines were good. They'd done a lot of spin-offs from films and TV shows and stuff as well. But they were good because they were again solid little metal toys that they were just wicked. Again, your pocket size, take them about. Yeah, I liked Micro Machines as well.
No, they were.
I had to give them a little mention.
No, they were good, man. So so we went to Sabutio, but let's go to some other toys that we didn't play with a lot, but you see lots of adverts, and you'd go, when you went to in the Argos catalogue you go, each page, I'll have that, I want that, I like that. But you looked at that page, never get it, that page you looked at when there's just like annuals. Yeah. And you go, I'll have that Marvel annual, I'll have that. But then you looked at a page and it had like chemistry sets, and magic sets.
Some of them were alright.
And you had to
always wanted a telescope.
Some of them were alright,
or a microscope.
Just something from that page. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I had a couple of.
Because on that page you had magic sets, chemistry sets,
electronic sets,
scientist sets,
gadgetry set. Yeah.
I like to. You even had Mr. Frosty.
Mr. Frosty.
Things that you could make.
I like toys like that too. Yeah, I definitely remember having a chemistry set. I can remember making some coloured liquid or making something smoke.
You didn't make stink bombs, did you?
Didn't make. Again, I think
it's from the bar.
I probably did. I remember having an electric set as well, where you had to make some sort of transistor, little radio. You had little circuit boards and a transistor, and I remember someone giving it to me. like a neighbour, and I think he'd give me like a little soldering set to go with it. So I remember doing a thing with electronic set.
Remember walkie-talkies?
Walkie-talkies were bad, yeah. Again, actually, you get an Action Man range, didn't you?
Yeah.
Walkie-talkies were wicked.
Man.
That was way before
just walking down the
phones.
stairs and saying to your brother or your mate,
over.
I'm downstairs, over.
I'm downstairs, over. Like they didn't know that already.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in the garden till it works.
Over.
As far as you possibly can. Can you still hear me? Over.
But yeah, magic sets was another one. I remember you used to get the Paul Daniels magic set, didn't you?
This way, that way. Yeah. I didn't have any magic sets either.
Yeah, no, I remember having the rings, joining the 3 rings.
I remember seeing that
Something
stuff.
with like a 3 bits of string or something. Yeah, there was some classic. I've forgotten how to do them all, but I do remember having them.
Yeah, I remember seeing that stuff. But yeah, those sets, man. Then I mean, those sets, they're not toys per se. Like things you could be creative with and build stuff with, and that's going back to like that's going with like the Lego. And I remember the first Lego I had was this. The spaceship, and the man in the you could take his helmet off, the astronaut.
The original one.
With a little symbol on his chest and the spaceship.
NASA,
that was the first Lego dude I had, and I think I bought him because everything was too expensive. Like now you got Star Wars Lego, Lord of the Rings Lego, all these different.
They're really expensive. But I remember back when we were little, you could get a little set. You get a man, and then maybe about 10 bits just to make a vehicle. Yeah. They were maybe like £3, which was a lot back in the day.
That was like the spaceship. You had the man in the spaceship, and you built the spaceship.
Or the helicopter and a copper, or a bike. There was a bike, policeman bike,
or fireman, a fire truck, or. Those are the ones I bought.
Yeah.
Remember them polystyrene planes? Just
I was going to mention
the wing in the
them.
middle
Yeah,
and
I was going to
dash
mention
out the
them.
window with a little propeller.
Yeah, I used to love
That's
them,
another
man.
market.
Yeah, didn't have a rubber band on it or something.
You could get one. You could get a wind-up one. You could get a wind-up one
yeah,
with a rubber band. You
yeah.
could keep twirling. But the original didn't have no rubber bands.
No, it's just
put the
polystyrene,
wings
put the
in.
wing in, propeller.
Put propeller. I sort of class them with beach toys. I used to always get them when I used to go to the beach.
Right.
Yes.
And the one I used to like, I think it's the Lockheed Lightning. It had the double tail. It's an American one from World War II. It was a silvery grey one, but it had two tails that come up, so it was twin. I used to love that one.
Yeah,
man.
that sounds familiar.
And when they first come out, they were balsa wood, and then over the years they turned into the polystyrene rubbish that we know of today.
Yeah.
But still, I loved them.
They were good.
Loved
Yeah.
them. But when I think of them, I instantly think of beach toys, which makes me think of a set of plastic bowls in like a plastic. You'd play bowls on the beach. You'd get like 6 of them in a little bag.
Lightweight, you throw it and the wind just blows it out.
Or you'd get the ones that would filled up with cement. They were rock hard. They were solid, and you'd drop them on your foot, and you'd be like, oh, trying to get it in the boot when you pack it up to go home. Dropping it on your foot.
I didn't get those ones, man. But I know exactly. Or little
like French
fishing
balls.
rods. Like plastic fishing rods.
Little fishing rods, yeah.
Or water pistols, really.
Oh, mate.
Water pistols are.
That's a good one.
You came in at the right time.
Yeah, water pistols.
Yeah, water pistols, man.
Super soakers. Used to be able to get a battery powered one as well back in there. I remember.
I didn't have
really
I just had basic.
Basic little
ones were
Dip
wicked.
your thing in the bucket. Watch it fill up.
Push
and
the end
put a
in.
little plastic
Push the
cork
end
in.
in, push the end
I'm
in.
off.
Yeah.
They were wicked.
I like
them.
the little red transparent one.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah.
Little handgun.
Yeah, little handgun. I put it in my
Wicked.
sock.
They were wicked. I remember one. I don't know if you
them.
guys should remember this. It looked like a real gun, but instead of it shooting out the nozzle, on top it had a bit you could turn. So you could put it like on this mode so it'd shoot straight, and you could put it on this mode so it'd shoot that way.
Wow.
Nah. You never see that one?
Nah.
You could shoot around corners and stuff. That one was wicked.
Mate, there were times where I just used a washing up bottle.
Yeah.
When it's done,
Balloons.
use that water and just spray that.
Yeah, and it's still got like soap in it, so you get them in the eye.
Yeah, that's even better. They ain't
the
coming back.
A-Team style
They
was.
ain't coming back to that.
But no, water guns,
Water
man.
guns are good. Water balloons, water guns.
Love water balloons.
Yeah.
Summer toys outside. Yeah, they were good.
Mate, those summer toys were big, man. You know,
Whether it be frisbees or aero bees.
frisbees, aero bees.
That's it. The bomb that you used to throw, like with the towel.
Make a
Some good
noise. You used
things.
to dash it.
All right, the vortex.
You remember plasticine? But you remember when you first bought a pack of plasticine?
Like a rasher of bacon.
Yeah, they were like rashers,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
a blue
yeah,
one,
yeah,
a red
yeah.
one,
Yeah.
a big one. And when you mix them, I was
Oh, no,
vexed.
I hated
Oh
that.
man,
Yeah, I
it's
hated that.
just a ball of brown with
Yeah.
blue and pink, and
I
but
bought
when
it.
they were all
I bought it
separate-
so I could make morph look like morph.
Yeah,
So the
and
white
you ended up just making
some
some
ugly
coloured
looking,
beast,
chas
some
looking.
multicolored beast. Do you know what I mean? All you got to do properly was eyeballs.
Eyeballs,
You make
white.
this thing of all these different colours.
That
He
goes
goes,
grey
I've
in the
got
end.
a bit of white, I've got a bit of black. Let's make some eyeballs. But,
I can remember us making plasticine. These little eyeballs.
Plasticine, man. I used to love plastic.
I liked it better than Play-Doh. Play-Doh, your mum could make that for you at home.
Play-Doh
I
had a
can make
smell.
that for
It
you.
had a certain
Yeah. It smelled odd. It didn't taste good.
Yeah.
It was salty.
Tastes good.
Yeah, why are you eating it?
It's a try thing, isn't it? Tasted salty.
Yeah, I think salt's a big component of it, actually.
Yeah. I didn't like it as much. It used to go hard, whereas plasticine was wicked, man.
Plasticine,
really messy, but yeah, I like plasticine.
Yeah, man. You know, so much toys we play with, chemistry sets, the figures and stuff. There's also soft toys.
Soft toys.
Now, I didn't play with many soft toys.
There was a few. That was
You played with a few soft toys.
Well, when I talk about soft toys, I mean like Gizmo. I'm sure you had Gizmo.
Why are you baiting me up like that?
Yeah, Gizmo, yeah.
Gizmo was good. He come in like a little.
Why did you say I have to? Why do you have to say I've
Did
got
you have a
one?
Teddy Ruxpin?
No, but I was going to mention Teddy Ruxpin. I wouldn't mind having.
I didn't have to. That's too expensive. I would have had it. No.
I wouldn't mind having a Teddy Ruxpin. They're worth quite a lot now. Yeah, they're worth a lot of money now. A good Teddy Ruxpin.
I'm a doubt.
But that made you feel like you were playing with a futuristic robot, Teddy Ruxpin, man. That was
It's
like
Ted,
way
isn't it?
ahead of his time, wasn't it?
But yeah,
I think as well, you could put a cassette in it. You could put a cassette in it and play music and do stuff like interact with the music.
The Cabbage Patch Kids. Didn't have one of them, but it was such a phenomenon. You were a kid. You were sucked into that vortex, but I didn't want to buy one.
And everyone knew what they were. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Garbage Pal,
that was the good spin-off from Cabbage Patch Kids.
Everyone collected the stickers.
Yeah.
Stickers,
and then they made a film of them.
Yeah, they did actually. Yeah,
film in the 80s.
But
Garbage Pal Kids, there was some gross-looking stickers.
Yeah, some of them are
There
wicked.
was some messed up.
The one with the eyeballs.
Oh, it makes your skin crawl now.
Yeah, loads of eyeballs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one. They bought
There was one
Topps
called
cards.
Alligator. There was one with an upside down face. There was there was so much nut ones.
I remember there was one Ray gun, meant to be Ronald Reagan, something like Ronald Reagan.
There was some creepy
some
ones,
weird
man.
ones, yeah. They were really cool though to be collected as kids and trading them in the playground. I liked them, and I think they're still making Garbage Pail Kids. They've had a bit of a comeback, and there's
Cabbage Patch Kids. You mean?
No, Garbage Pail, the cards.
Yeah.
They're still making. There's new sets out apparently. I think came out in maybe the last few years. But more recent times they've released them again. I don't know if you can buy individual cards or whether you have to buy the full. I think you have to buy the full set.
Oh wow!
But there is some new sets. But yeah, I remember going back to Gizmo. I remember you having the Gremlin one, man. 'Cause I thought that was wicked. I loved Gizmo, man.
Yeah, Gremlins was amazing.
I'm sure he come like in a little box or a little cage.
Yes, he
and
did.
you had the rules: do not feed.
Yes.
And he was like sort of more or less like a life-size size of Gizmo.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, he was wicked. I loved him, man. I thought I want one of them. I think I did get one later, but it weren't an official one. It was maybe like a budget
We didn't have
version.
to tell everyone on the podcast. You could have just spoke about it later. I'm supposed to be having action figures, man. Very little.
I'm sure. Didn't you have like a little pony as well? You didn't have,
No, My Little Pony. Hi. So you had surveilling families, didn't you?
Surveillant family.
Like some little midget toys.
Or a la carte kitchen.
A la carte. I think everyone had an a la carte. kitchen.
Wait.
I'm sure everyone had a
No, I didn't have one.
That's for girls, man.
I don't think I had.
You had one.
No, I didn't have one.
You just said you think everyone had one.
Well,
Man.
everyone's played with one, is what I meant. Everyone's been somewhere where there's been one, whether it be a nursery. Did you ever play? Like, you never been to a nursery that's had? Surely the school nursery had an a la carte kitchen.
Nah.
I can remember like putting beans in the oven and. I can remember playing with an a la carte kitchen.
Probably a nursery.
Yeah.
I remember playing with
Do you remember
tills.
the advert for that?
Oh yeah, do you remember the tills?
The tills.
And it would have the money.
The money.
Yeah,
and
the
then
money.
You press the thing
You
and
press
the
the
numbers
button,
come up at the
Come
top.
up,
Yeah.
yeah.
My sister had one of them.
Ones these days have got Ones these days have got microphones on them, like so you can call like someone to check out. You know, you can do
wow! I remember
whatever.
the tills with the money and
The tills are wicked.
and the notes. But yeah, I remember the advert.
Remember the advert for the a la
and the
carte?
kid made Swiss roll with beans
With
for a
beans
dad.
on top, yes.
Wake up, daddy, breakfast ready.
That's the one.
I remember adverts. Ladies
I'm
and
sure
gentlemen. You must
everyone
think
must
this
have played
guy's
with
nuts,
that.
but I just remember
I
theme
remember
tunes and adverts
yeah.
of the 80s. But yeah, so you had my sister. I remember my sister had Care Bears.
Care Bears, yeah. Because there was a cartoon that went with Care Bears, which I must admit I did watch. Okay, actually, I think I even went to the cinema to see the Care Bear movie. I think I might have gone with someone though to see it.
Do you know what? I
think I went on my own.
Do you know what? It was us that went.
Was it? Didn't we go with someone?
We took some girls.
We went with someone to see the Care Bear movie.
We took some girls to see the Care Bear movie.
I'm glad you said that because I was thinking, man, it's a bit embarrassing.
Yeah, we
did.
We took some girls.
Hold on. You went to see a Care Bear.
Hey, the girls.
They were into that.
We're like, how old are we? 8, 9?
Yeah. Yeah.
Care Bear movie came out. We're like, hey, it's either that, Pretty in Pink, or
So now
Secret of My Success or something. And like, you know, boom, boom. But it was Care Bear movie.
Do you remember Pam Puppies? Pam Puppies. Used to get a little kennel, and I'll tell you what, they used to make them look so sad that kids in the shop would look at them and think, I've got to take that home.
Yes.
And they would bother their parents that they want to rescue this bloody toy pound puppy. I think it was just, that it was clever advertising, and they made you feel sorry for them, and as if they were homeless dogs, and you had to buy them to give them a home. Yeah. So that was sort of clever advertising with the pound puppies.
That's right. The Rubik's Cube.
One of the most popular ever selling toys in the world, I think.
Man.
I think over 350 of them sold, and they were £1 when they first come out. Yeah. They seemed like an expensive toy, but
you remember when they had smaller versions?
The small little tiny ones.
Yeah. And then it became round.
Round ones, yeah. I had the snake one that was sort of the round one. It was like a beige and brown one.
Yeah.
That was the only one I
make it into a gun or
that was it. I must admit, it was a lot easier than the Rubik's Cube. But I mastered that one. I could do it into whatever shape. But the Rubik's Cube was hard.
The Rubik's Cube. So people used to just take the stickers off and put the stickers back and go,
or you can't take the stickers off, huh?
Not now.
Back in the day,
you could, but you could see them peeled. But what I used to do, turn one at like one level at an angle, and you could pop the corner. Once you got the corner out, you could get them all out, and then just put them all back, the right way around. That was the only way I could do it.
So did any of you complete the Rubik's Cube?
Never. I could complete about 3 or 4 sides. Still now, I've had to go recently, and I'm the same. Still get about 3 or 4 sides done. But you see these professional guys doing it
like 4 seconds.
in seconds, one-handed, like. It's like how?
Yeah.
Obviously, again, mathematical, man. If you know, flick it this way, flick it that way. So I don't know. But yeah, I remember that. I remember the snake and the Rubik's Cube. And remember other older toys as well, like Stretch Armstrong. That was another one that came out.
That's something I wanted. I remember you could get a Hulk one.
You could get a Hulk one as well, yeah. And that thing, literally, it was only probably 12 inches wide. You could stretch that over a metre, like. It went really long, man. And I always remember there was a bit in the box. It said if you ever do rip it, it told you how to repair it. I think it even give you a little patch thing that you put over the rip, and it sort of melted into the plastic, into the rubber. But I remember there was a bit like if you do manage to mash it, it is how to repair it, sort of thing. Little instructions on the box.
Oh, wicked.
I remember other things like space hoppers, and do you remember a Lola ball? It might have had other names. I'm sure it was called a Lola ball. And it was like a round platform you stood on, but with a ball blown up in the middle.
Oh, wow.
So you could jump it. Do you remember
that?
I had one, man. Not many people. I didn't know many.
You had one.
Yeah, I was good with it. I could jump.
Was a pink disc and the ball was yellow.
Yeah, I think it was.
I remember that. I had difficulties with balance on that.
Yeah, they're hard.
But once you mastered that was good. I could bounce far and jump and twist, and that was quite good. Lolo ball. I'm sure it was called a Lolo ball. Yeah, because I remember. The only reason I'm thinking is that because I remember I got so crazy on it. I tried making a T-shirt to wear when I'm riding it, and I'm sure I remember like doing a stencil and spraying Lolo or YOLO or Lo-Yo or something. I'm sure it was Lolo ball. But it was an odd thing.
But I remember that.
It was like a space hopper, but instead of sitting on it,
I remember space hopper as
stood on it.
I didn't have a space hopper.
I had one of them, but they were a bit limited, just garden use really. I couldn't pop.
A lot of people used to get them popped as well.
Yeah. The original ones were really strong rubber, almost like a wheel type rubber.
Yeah.
Now they've gone all flimsy and cheap, and they're like a lilo now.
Yeah.
Like what you'd go to the beach.
Oh wow, man.
Yeah, they were good. Swing ball was another popular one, just for outdoor use.
I remember you had one in your garden.
In the garden, a bit of swing ball.
Swing ball, man.
A bit of swing ball.
You could take out some anger on that if you were vexed or something. You could beat that thing, man. That was good.
Beat that thing,
Beat that thing,
yo!
The big heavy bats that you got with it.
Wow.
The bats were big.
You remember like those plastic tennis rackets with the sponge ball?
Yeah.
From like Woolworths and that.
Yeah. We used to have them at school, I think, as well. We used to use ones like that. Plastic rackets and like a hard foam sponge. Softball sort of thing. I think it might have been called softball tennis or something we used to play.
Is it what, in primary schools?
I don't think it's primary or second. It might have been secondary actually.
Yeah, it must have been secondary. I don't remember doing that.
Secondary. Yeah, we used to play some softball game with rackets and balls.
So many, man. But ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to a close of this episode because, as you know, there's so many toys we could have selected from. The movie franchise toys. Remember when Rambo had a couple of toys out?
Yeah, headbands and machine guns. And stuff. Yeah, boxes.
Rambo and the Force of Freedom. Yeah. Terminator toys at Robot. Every franchise had toys out, but we just wanted to take you back to the toys that we remembered playing in our prime youth days. And I think we about covered it, guys. What do you reckon?
There's more, but we could be all day.
But we covered the
main ones that we enjoyed.
Yeah. Because overall, for me, Star Wars was the most.
Star Wars is the one.
Because remember that went. I played that for about a decade.
Yeah, for about 10 years, it must have been, isn't it?
For about a decade, I played Star Wars, man. And in between, other toys came in and out. But I think when that decade left, I think I stopped playing with toys altogether.
I think when you finished with Star Wars,
computer games came in. Then you started playing Amstrad or Commodore, Spectrum, whatever.
Yeah, you're right.
So I think overall, Star Wars for me is the ultimate toy of my childhood.
We lived through a wicked era for toy play. Just even outdoors childhood play.
Yeah.
The toys we had.
Your imagination just went wild.
It did. It enhanced, definitely made you think about
And the funny thing about it is, I think kids do still do this now, but all these toys that we played with, you never recreated a scene from the movie. You created your own
scenes. You were your own director.
Yeah, you created
producer.
your own scenarios now. You never replayed the scene.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of the creativeness of being a kid.
Of having
you
toys.
created how you wanted to see it and what you wanted the characters to do.
Definitely.
So that ends another podcast from Old School Movements. I'm off. Chris, you got to say anything? Yeah.
No, we covered everything I was going to say. I'll tell you what, there is one more. There's one more game. I don't know if you're going to remember this.
I just said I'm off, and now he's
I can't stop thinking about toys now, man. Yeah, because that was rubbish anyway. You're going to have to do it better this time. So anyway, like the game, I don't know if you're going to remember this, but it was a boxing ring, right? And it had two like robot-y humanoid characters, and you each had a pair of handles either side, and you could make him bob, weave, and punch each other.
Yes.
Fighting boxing robots in the ring. Do you remember that?
Is that a market job?
That's what I can't remember, because it seems.
Think it was.
I don't think it was, because it seems a lot of technology there to make them move and punch. It was quite basic, but
and their arms were like that. And
they literally done. But it was the bobbing and the weaving and the ducking back, which was different to any other sort of toy, a boxing toy that I'd seen at the time. But that I had to mention it. Boxing robots in the ring, whatever it was called. That game was good as well. That was a wicked little toy.
Remember the name of it though?
Nah, Boxing Robots in the Ring.
Boxing Robots
by Boney M. Out in shops soon.
Okay, well, I'm not going to say bye now. You start off the buys, man.
It's been a good one, man. Good reminiscing about toys. I hope people out there have remember some of the stuff we do. If you do, or if you remember anything else, let us know. You can always drop us a comment. Remember to listen out for our next one, and I hope you enjoy it. Till next time.
Yep. We're going to go and we're going to fade out with this beat in the background, man. So, peace. We out.